Welcome to We Geek Podcast. My name is Adam, and I'm with my friend here, Logan.
Hello.
What's up? And if you're listening to this, it is Wednesday, April 29th.
Yeah, it
And
is.
yeah, I mean, last week we had, the week of movie trailers. Every trailer came out. And, I thought, well, what's going to happen this week? Because, like, when they just drop everything like that, usually it's pretty slow. And, I was kind of afraid there wasn't that much news, but we got a lot of news this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll
And it's
say.
it's very different from last week. But yeah, man, let's get started. I think, well, first let me ask you, how's your week going? How was your weekend?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Oh yeah. Did you get anything new, or just working and stuff?
Work and going back through GTA 5. I got that from GameFly on PS4 just for grins. Gonna polish that off here in the next day or two, and then jump into I also got the Dying Light
Oh,
on it.
nice. How
Uh,
was that?
I haven't cracked it yet,
Oh
so
yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things, but we'll see.
That came out at the perfect time because I remember looking at my PlayStation Store and I was like, I'm hungry for a new game, and there's nothing here that I want to play. And I kept looking at Dying Light, and I heard how great it was. I never jumped on it though, pun intended, I guess. But I've heard nothing but good things, and so I'm kind of excited because I want to do the GameFly like you. You know what? Actually, as soon as we get off this show, I'm signing up for it because I keep putting that off.
Let me send you a referral, cause then I get
Yeah,
a credit.
Yeah, let's do that
Yeah.
because, it's kind of cost effective for me to go, hey, that game looks cool, let me buy it, and then I'm like, a little bit later, like some games that I've bought, in the past.
Yeah.
But man, I can't wait to get into Dying Light. I have GTA 5, and I don't know what it is about GTA where like it seems cool. All the commercials seem cool. I love all the talk about it. Now it's that it's on PC. All the modders are out there. Like it looks like fun, and everyone says they have fun in it. And I like I'm kind of like the kid at the party, just like standing around smiling and like nodding and laughing with everything they're saying. I'm like, that's awesome. And then when I go and experience, I'm like, I don't know why. It hits me. It's like I don't like this game. Like you know what I think it is because I'm like, oh, that looks cool. You can do this, you can do that. The story looks great. But then when you get in it, I'm reminded that it's constant driving, and I'm reminded again of how much I hate driving. And it's like, get here in a minute, and I'm like, fuck, how do I get to that side of town when this,
Yeah.
this person's shooting at me, the prostitute's beating me with their purse. I don't know. It's
No,
I
man.
played a little bit.
If you really want to freak out somebody who's played GTA 5, just ask them about transporting the cars, and you'll hear people start just banging their heads against the wall.
Yeah, dude.
It's that one mission. Every GTA has that one mission.
Oh man, and
Oh god.
when this one opens up, not to spoil or anything, but when it opens up, well, I don't think it's the very first scene. It's the scene with oh, what's his name? Like you're stealing two cars and you're going into you're like talking about how like people like profiling you, and you then you actually go and steal a car from a house. They're like, yeah, but we're gonna go and steal a car, and on the way there, there's a cat in an alley, and I go down to pet it, and I think I'm gonna pet the cat, and I accidentally kick him and kill him. I had to restart the game, and I'm like, no, I didn't want to start this out by killing a cat, so I
uh,
restart it. It's the two guys walking down the street, talking about how they're gonna boost these cars. They get around the corner, and you know what? There's a cat there. It's a calico cat instead of an orange cat this time. I thought, holy shit! Like this game puts this cat's gonna be here every time, but it might be a little bit different.
yeah.
And so I don't press the button to do anything because I thought maybe I pet it or something. I don't know where I was going with that story, but that's when I was just like, this game is awesome, especially when I restarted it, and like the whole world. There's just so many things in it, and to go on a tangent because that's what I do here. I saw that there's a mod out there that you can play as the cat. Or
Really?
as or
Well, I'm
yeah,
not
or as the
surprised.
dog.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and you see this dog. Or I saw this video where this dog, running around the city, throwing people out of their cars and taking off. I don't know, but modders are crazy. And we'll actually get into some modding in a little bit here in
Yeah.
this show. But yeah, man, I wanna. Oh man, I love GTA. I love the like this one. I really liked because there's just so many diverse characters that you start out as. like so different. And I thought that when I saw that and I heard about that, that's what kind of got me in. And I knew it was going to come out for the PS4 eventually, so I waited for it. But that's what kind of got me in, because the last, every other GTA, it's like you're this one guy. And you're kind of stuck to that story. Or this, it's like you're these three different guys. Their stories all kind of meld together, and it would make a great movie. If they were going to do a GTA movie, it would be GTA 5, like story wise, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, totally. It's super cool. But again, it's when I start to play it, you start driving, and I'm just like, I fucking hate this. I don't know. There's something about that I hate. I wish I could do everything else in the game and skip the driving parts, but
yeah, just imagine Skyrim without the fast travel.
yeah, exactly. Well, my weekend was what did I even do this weekend? I didn't do much actually. Well, funny story, and I guess we can get into this now before we get into everything else.
Okay.
I found out what addiction was. And it and I blame my grandmother. Really, she got me addicted. So I'll tell you the quick story. About a week or so ago, I went over to their house like I normally do. I see them at least once a week or once every 2 weeks, because there's a lot of things that they're getting old, and there's things they can't do that I can do, and I love spending time with them. They're like I'm super close to my grandparents. And so I went over there one day a few weeks ago, and my grandfather bought a pressure washer, and he's like, hey, I bought this so you can go and pressure wash the pool for me. And I thought, oh, okay, whatever. I put on my headphones, listened to podcasts, and pressure washed his entire back porch, his pool, his driveway, everything. It took all day, but I love them, so it was fun. And so, I didn't expect anything in return. I never do. I just do things for them. And then I came back over the weekend, and my grandmother had a puzzle set for 1,000 pieces. It was a Star Wars Darth Vader puzzle, and we'll get into that in a second, because that's not what I was addicted to. I busted that open. I started playing it. But she also had a Lego set, a Star Wars Lego set, a snowspeeder. And I can't explain it. The inner child inside of me squealed, and I was just like, that is awesome. Because a few years back, someone actually bought me an X-Wing Lego set. I think it was Valentine's Day or something, and I put it together, and I loved the shit out of it. And ever since then, I've always said, that was really fun. That was total guilty pleasure. I don't know what about it. Just sitting there and putting one piece together, one by one, just completely zoned out, relaxing, and there was just something you feel accomplished at the end when you have this huge set put together, like 1,000 pieces. There was just something, therapeutic about it, kind of like, I guess, someone with a bonsai tree or something. It was just relaxing. And so ever since then, I've always kind of talked about it. I've always mentioned briefly to my family or anyone else, like, I would totally do that. And one little side part of that as well, when I saw the reason why I originally got the X-Wing one is because I was telling somebody, I saw the South Park documentary where they do 6 days to air. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's
right, and that's where I got the idea from. I was like, I saw how the creator was like, whenever I get stressed out, I pull out a big Lego Star Wars Lego box, an AT-AT, X-Wing or a Millennium Falcon or whatever, and he'll sit there and put it together, and he will zone out and relax. Everything else goes away, and by the end of that, usually he comes up with a great idea or something like that because he's not stressed anymore. And I thought that would be cool. I like Star Wars. I would do that. And then that's when I got the X-Wing, and it was like, yes, he was 100% right. And so, my grandma listens to me when I talk, and I remember telling her, I guess I must have told her a few weeks ago, like, oh, I would totally dig getting one of those. And she had it for me, and it was the snow speeder from Empire Strikes Back. And oh man, I sat there and put piece to piece by piece together, and it was so fucking relaxing. And then I went online and I saw how much she paid for it, and I thought, holy shit, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, those things are not cheap.
No, they're not cheap. Comparatively to the other ones, it wasn't that bad. It was maybe the price of a super special edition DVD, all bundled together with, whatever. I think it was probably around $25. It's still expensive. It's an expensive toy. But it gave me like 2 or 3 hours of, I don't know, it was fun. So, and then I started looking at the other ones, and I was like,
Oh no.
yeah, I went down that road. I went down that rabbit hole, and this is, when I see on TV people are addicted to things, when I see like, oh, I'm addicted to the, I guess I shouldn't compare it to drugs because that's, but that was my kind of like, oh my God, I want another one and I can't think about it. And I looked at the prices of them, and then I was rationalizing in my head like, well, I could work a few extra hours. And I could get that. Oh my God, like they're super expensive. The collector edition ones,
Oh yeah.
bro. Like I don't even. I'm embarrassed to say how much they are, and
Yeah.
that I was considering it. But like they're huge. They're like 2 or 3 thousand pieces.
Oh yeah, they're massive.
Oh yeah,
I've seen
and they're
some
on
of them.
like you put them on stands and stuff too, and they have this special card below it. And oh my God, we'll see. The saga continues. I'll let you know if I cave in. Which I mean, embarrassing enough, I probably will. But oh man, I started looking at them. I started analyzing them, just like I do anything that I geek out about. I get obsessed, and I just keep researching. And I'm like, okay, when do they go on sale? I found out what time of year they go on sale. It happens to be May 4th. That's when every Star Wars Lego gets super cheap. So who knows? Who knows?
Good
Maybe I'll
tip.
get something
Good
down
tip.
the road. Yeah, but oh man, that Boba Fett slave one. Whew, that's oh man, it's. But anyway, that's what I did this weekend, and who knows? Maybe I'll splurge and get another one this week, maybe a $20 one or something like that. But I don't know. I looked at them and I was like, the other ones, like I don't even know what it was. It was like a random Jedi fighter from episode 1. I was like, nah, I don't want that one. I want like the classic ships. But anyway, that was my addiction. And hey, if any of the listeners have any crazy addictions like that, or hey, if you like Star Wars Legos, send us a message, email us, let us know, and I'll read it on the air. But yeah, so let's get into it because there was some pretty big news this week, and let's start out with kind of it actually just dropped. I just saw the article. It was Tuesday, and I thought it was fake at first because there's been fake articles of these. In the last few years, I don't know how many times, and usually they turn out to be something some fan has dreamt up, something that is out of a movie that's coming out, or a rumor of a manga, and new Dragon Ball series called Dragon Ball Super. And of course that's translated because from what I understand, the super actually can mean hyper or something else, depending on the translator.
Right.
But yeah, it said first official Dragon Ball series in over 18 years. And that's huge. I mean, that's yeah. And I think we've actually mentioned this before in the show that Dragon Ball is something that could come back and it would be huge because it was so big. I mean, if you think about something that bridged anime in the West, it was Dragon Ball.
Yeah. That was a huge gateway because I know I'm one who, for how many people that was their first anime, either Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z was their introduction to anime. And some people, I wasn't one who said, "Ooh, what's this? This is really cool. Where can I go find more of this?" But I know some people who, for a lot of people, that was what happened. They were like, "Wow, this is cool. This is kind of different. I've never experienced this before. Where's the rest of it?" And it's like, well, just stick on Toonami, and they're going to show you like 4 more right in a row.
Oh yeah, totally. I've never saw a cartoon like that, and I guess I shouldn't call it cartoon. It's an anime, but well, whatever. It's you know what it is. I've never saw anything like that where I was like, oh my God, like these are actual characters with stories that like there's some consequences to what happens, and oh my God, they just killed someone off. They never killed off Leonardo in the Ninja Turtles. You know what I mean? Like they never. There was no. I don't know how to explain it, but it just didn't seem like other shows like that had that much depth to it than that did. Like I remember coming home, it was on every single day after school, and at first I was a little. I didn't know what to think of it because I think at that time the only thing remotely anime that saw was Pokemon because of the game, but this was something that didn't come from a video game for me. So I was like, what is this thing? And I went in, and I, like anything else, I went fully in, and I wanted to know all about the characters, and I wanted to know the world that they lived in, and all the Saiyans, and that when he went Super Saiyan for the first time, and then I heard from my friends that, oh, by the way, there's some extra levels to that Super Saiyan. I was so in. I was like, what is all this? And of course, I love drawing, so I became obsessed with that. That's usually what stems most of my obsessions with, like, animation or anything like that. And it went from X-Men to Batman to Goku, and but anyway, like that was a huge thing when, and I shouldn't say childhood. I was, what, I don't know. I was in middle school when I first started getting into that, and then high school. So it's been years. It seems like a long time coming. I imagine they're going to get a lot of the voice cast back. They're still doing the movies, so I'm sure they'll love to jump in. And from what I gather, the creator didn't do GT.
Right. As far as GT is not considered canon mostly.
Right.
Like
right.
it was almost like an expanded universe kind of project, the way that it's kind of looked back on now.
Right, yeah, it didn't have the creator on board or anything like that. It was like the people who owned the property was like, well, we're not going to stop because this is big. Let's just continue. And so, yeah, no, that's cool. And I know that means a lot to a lot of people, and I don't want to butcher the creator's name either.
Akira Toriyama, I believe.
There you go. Yeah, and that's cool. I know that got a lot of people excited who's really into anime and manga, that they were like, holy shit, like he's back on. And so this kind of, like we were saying, this is going to take place after Boo, and it's going to take place after what's happening in the movie, the one that just came out with Frieza, which we haven't seen yet. I think
it's not out in they're doing an English dub version sometime this summer.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's in September.
It's I would be surprised if it didn't drop around the same time as the show. Now, for the show, we don't know. I'm guessing that they're just talking about, because it is coming out in July, but I'm assuming that's just the Japanese version.
Right. Well, March 30th is when it hits for the Resurrection F.
Well, that was when it hit Japanese theaters.
Oh, okay. I looked up a release date. So
yeah, that was for Japanese theaters. The English dub is supposed to be sometime during the summer. They haven't announced a date yet.
Right. Okay, that's cool. So so the Dragon Ball Z, that's coming out in July, and like you said, it's probably going to be coming out in Japan first. Who knows how the dubbing process. Back then it took a long time. I imagine they're able to do a lot faster these days.
Oh yeah. With I'm gonna get beat up by AV nerds for this because I can't remember, and I'm supposed to, the particular protocol that's helped with transferring audio and video files, like from studio to studio. I can't remember what it's called, but that's been a huge help.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could see other shows, like ones that are still super popular. These, like Pokemon, for example, that's done in record time from Japanese to American.
Oh yeah.
So that's going to be cool. I mean, I know I'm going to be tuned in. I know you are.
Oh,
I know a lot of my other friends are, and we're old now. We're 28, but if they can get that audience along with younger audiences. Holy shit! Like that, I love that is. And Dragon Ball never kind of went away, but I'm glad that's coming. This is the year of our childhood. I'm telling you, like Jurassic Park, Star Wars, Dragon Ball Z, all the people that loved it as kids, we were age. You gotta imagine, not too long ago they just got into the business, and now they're at the point in the business where they can make real decisions.
Yep.
Where they're like, yeah, let's bring that back because that got me excited. And so yeah, man, I don't even, I know with the new movie, there's some changes. Like I read that. I guess I shouldn't even get to spoilers, but everyone's if you haven't seen the pictures of what Goku and Vegeta look like now in the new movies, go Google them, because there's a difference. There's definitely a next level from the Super Saiyan Gen 3 that they get into. So I'm excited for that. I think that's cool to see what's next, and see if what they do with Gohan and all these characters that they kind of push to the side a little bit. It'd be nice to see them, I don't know, come out. We could do a whole speculation on Dragon Ball, but
Oh yeah.
but yeah, man. So I don't know. I'm excited about that. I know you are. I'm sure some people listening are too, because that was huge. That was big. But okay. So yeah, we got that out of the way. Let's see here. What some comic book news. Frank Miller is doing The Dark Knight 3: The Master Race. I don't know. I forgot because I haven't read Dark Knight Returns and well, I forget what the
The
second
Dark
one
Knight
was called.
Strikes Again was the
Strikes
second one,
Again.
yeah.
I haven't read that in forever, so I forget how it ends. But
It's
how are
man,
they
it's
doing it?
weird. Strikes Again is a really, really weird book, and it's one that a lot of people, it doesn't get a lot of great
Right.
reviews and it wasn't received well. But I tell you what, and I need to do this. There was an episode of Kevin Smith's Fat Man on Batman podcast
Mhm.
where he sat down with Grant Morrison, and Grant laid out this entirely different way of interpreting The Dark Knight Strikes Again that apparently just flips everything.
Oh
And it's
wow.
such a fascinating kind of thing. And I need to go back and listen to that and reread
Well,
Strikes Again. And because when I read it, I don't know how many years ago. It's the same kind of thing. It's like it's been a while, but I remember going through this and thinking, wow, some of these ideas are pretty out there. So,
oh yeah, no, and
and it's
I totally believe you
yeah,
about Grant Morrison seeing a story that we all saw and seeing something completely different. Because I
oh yeah,
remember he did that with The Killing Joke.
yeah,
Yeah, and about how like that's actually the last Batman Joker story because Batman he's pushed to the limit in that. And I didn't get that when I read it the first time, and I went back after hearing what he said and I read it and I was like, oh shit, the Joker actually or Batman actually did what Grant Morris was, always assuming he did in that. And so yeah, dude, I could totally. I totally believe that. Now I want to go back and read The Dark Knight Returns and Returns again and listen to that podcast and see what he was thinking because
yeah.
I remember reading it and not liking it as much as Returns. But for the life of me, I can't. Oh God, this was years ago when I read it. I can't for the life of me remember how it ends. So
It's
you know,
it definitely goes a little above and beyond. Like there were some kind of strange ideas in Returns, but they worked because they still had kind of a grounding in a sense. They didn't overreach, but when he did Strikes Again, like he just kind of said, "Hey, here's an idea," and nobody seemed to stop and think about, but it doesn't fit any kind of narrative that you're going for here.
right?
But I mean,
Yeah, no.
hey, I'm always up for trying to see it a different way and experience it in a new fashion. But the big news about this one, I think, is that it's also being co-written. He's got a pen partner in this,
Right.
and it's Brian Azzarello. A lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
people
No,
know
I like his stuff.
yeah, he did. He's been doing this run of Wonder Woman for the New 52, and he just killed it. Like
Oh yeah.
it was fantastic.
I think I read the first 12 issues of that and I loved it. I loved it was totally different. It was all about the gods and stuff like that. It was like I don't know. It was definitely outside of the New 52 type stuff. It was just totally different. I liked that about it. Um, but yeah, no, yeah. I heard that Frank Miller wasn't doing too good health wise. That's definitely why he needed someone to help him with it. And
Really,
but
I
yeah,
hadn't
it's
heard that.
and we can all, I mean, we all know that I think they're doing this because obviously Batman Superman's coming out,
Oh
and that
sure.
just everything in those, I was talking to my friends who they don't read comics, and they were like, well, why does Batman have a suit like that?
Why,
And I
why did
thought,
Batman build an Iron Man suit? God, no, I can't count how many times I've heard that the last 2 weeks.
right, and it's like it's okay for Iron Man to do that when he faces the Hulk, but it's not when Batman faces Superman. Like it totally makes sense why he would have a suit like that. And when I saw that scene, the first thing I thought was, okay, where's Arrow? Green Arrow. He's got to be in that scene somewhere, shooting an arrow at him or something, just like the scene from the comic book. Is he hanging, with with one arm off the stairs on the
Yeah.
to the side? Is Steve Amell, gonna make a cameo? That was my first thought, and that would have been the perfect place to put him. That would have been the theater would erupt in applause if Steve Amell was hanging from a ladder and is like, I got your back, and shoots,
Yeah.
kryptonite at Superman. But no, they're not going to do that. They're not going
No.
anywhere near that. We'll
No,
see him in
'cause
Ninja Turtles.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, explaining to them, it was like, Batman needs that suit, of course, because it's Superman.
Right.
And of course he would have that suit because he's been preparing for this. Batman, this isn't his first rodeo, and in the movie this isn't an origin for him. This is like old Batman. This is like, I am going to know every single one of your weaknesses before I even let you know I'm in the room. And so of course he's going to wear that suit. I think it's perfect with the eyes, whether it's all white, it looks just like the comics. I love how, if that is his voice, it makes sense why it would be changed, through the electronics. Then I'm Batman, I'm gonna grumble. It totally makes sense to distort his voice. So when I was listening to it, I thought, of course I would never know that's, Ben Affleck. That's why I even thought it was Lex Luthor, his voice. They were just dubbing it over that scene to kind of throw everybody off. Like, do you bleed? So, but anyway, I think that's totally cool. Put it in there. We need more people to pick up comics. We need that has to happen. It's, reading is fundamental, and I know there's pictures in there, but there's nothing that's going to get kids more interested in reading than superhero stuff. It's so big right now. More kids. Maybe, I guess Dark Knight Rises is probably the best
Maybe
place
not
for
the
kids.
best material choice.
But you know what? I'll say this. There's way more violent things out there on the internet, television, and movies that I really don't think Dark Knight Returns would scar a child. I mean, when we were kids, I don't know about you, but I saw Aliens and Jaws and all that shit when I was a child, and it didn't mess me up. I'm a normal, functioning human being. I don't know. I think parents guard their kids a little too much these days, but hey, I'm not a parent, so I guess I don't know. But yeah, no, I mean, it's I don't know. Speaking of comic stuff, I know that next week is Free Comic Book Day. I think that's coming up this weekend, right?
Yes.
All right,
I
let me
believe
see if I can get that day. Free Comic Book Day. Free Comic Book Day 2015. And let's see here. It is...
Yeah, because it's
I
usually
believe it's the 2nd. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
Saturday, May 2nd. If you have a local comic shop near you, I implore you to go to it. Take your kids, take your nephews, take anyone. Tell anyone you know with kids, hey, it's Free Comic Book Day. Go get them some comic books. So all year, I mean, when I was a kid, I would get a few, and they would last months because I would just look at everything. I would just be obsessed with it and just read over and over again the words and just picture myself in that world, just like a kid can do that most adults can't do these days. But I was in love with it, and go get those for your kids. Go support local businesses. I know here in Orlando, I'll be going to a comic shop. Actually, oh man, I think I work Saturday, but I'm sure they'll be open early enough so I can, see if my little brother wants to run there or something. But yeah, I'll go. I'm gonna probably grab some comics for my nephews and stuff. So, yeah, man, if you live near a comic book shop, go there on Saturday. I know our local comic book shop, a comic shop, they're gonna have so much free stuff for people, not just comic books. It's like an event there. They have, I don't know what's going on there this year, but normally there's people dressed up in costumes. Maybe there's someone signing. Check out your local comic book store. You never know. They might have free pizza or something just to get you in the door. But go check it out. I know if you would here, I know you would be there, Logan.
Oh, in a heartbeat. Are you kidding? Like,
Yeah,
I
especially
have
because
to-
of when we're at
Yeah.
having beer and shit. Like, it's great.
Yeah, no, I have to see what they're doing here, because I'm not. I hate to do this. I'm not impressed with the local store. But
Oh yeah.
but the thing is, it's kind of a reflection of the town, really.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an up in the mountains rural town, lovely, beautiful. People are great, but just not a nerd town. So it's
Right.
kind of
Right.
like, hey, we have a comic book store because it was kind of something else we needed to check off the list. Gas station, check. Arby's, check. Comic book store, check.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
more of a it's more tabletop here. I'll put
Oh,
it that way.
okay.
They're focused more on tabletop, and that's
That's
very
cool.
cool. I'm happy for them. They found that works. It's just not my bag, but I sound like I'm throwing them under the bus, and I'm trying really hard not to because I haven't
No,
it's not,
no.
it's just I I
And
got
see,
spoiled.
tabletop is something I've been wanting to get into. I actually bought Battlestar Galactica, the board game. I
Really?
bought X-wing miniatures.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I told you this, right?
No, I haven't heard
Oh,
this story.
oh. Okay, yeah. So when I went to MegaCon, I don't know if I mentioned it, but yeah, I went and I saw the board games and I thought, okay, I've seen people play these online. I've seen Total Biscuit, Jesse Cox, and all of them play these board games. And or Will Wheaton, he's got a like tabletop game. If you guys have never seen it,
On the Geek and Sundry YouTube channel. Yeah, he has a
right?
show
Yeah,
called Tabletop. Oh, it's hysterical. I
yeah,
love
he
it.
had Patrick, Rothfuss on it, and he's a
Oh man.
huge tabletop person. And so when I sat and watched them play Battlestar Galactica the game, let me give you a quick run of what this is. Now, I don't know that much about it. I really need to rewatch the video, especially like a tutorial so I can teach people that come and play. But apparently, like it's a game where you're 4 to 8 people, I believe. And during the game, one person they realize they're a Cylon. They have the card. At some point in time in the game, they, I guess, pull that card. They're the Cylon. And their goal is to screw everyone over in the game without letting them know that you're the
Okay.
Cylon. So you're the bad person, but you're also trying to set other people up to look like the bad person. And you kind of have to catch on who the Cylon is, because you want them to not be in your boarding team. You don't want them in any sort of decision making role, and it becomes very like politically driven in the game. It's just like the show. And when I saw that, I thought, I am totally in. I want that. There's a few other ones like it. Like there's a zombie one where like there's a zombie board game where some person finds out they're bitten, but you don't want everyone else to know because you kind of want to because you can still win the game if you survive to the end, but at the same time you could kill everyone else and you can infect everyone else without them knowing it. So there's some really interesting board games out there that are so different that I thought, that sounds like more fun than sitting and playing PlayStation one night. Like I could have some friends over and have a few beers and have a great time. And I know some friends that want to do it, so we're gonna do it soon. There's some other ones I want to get. Like there's a Game of Thrones one that's like straight up Game of Thrones. Like you side with other people in the
Nice.
game. Yeah, you build. You get with them and you're like, let's form an alliance because you have some things that I need. I have some things that you need, and we can destroy these other families easy. Well, and then you screw them over. So like it's very Game of Thrones. And but back to what I was saying. The Star Wars one I got as well is a Star Wars miniature game called X-Wing, and it comes with 2 TIE fighters and an X-Wing. And these little, really extremely detailed pieces, and the game is like, again, I haven't busted out and played it yet, so I really need to do that and look at the instructions. But like, you measure it out, like, and it has all of these little tools that you use to measure. And so you have this board; it's this big space thing, and you basically try to kill the other player. Now, what's cool about it is they've made all of these other replicas that you could buy to play the game, and it plays differently. Um, so for example, it comes with 2 different decks. One's for the X-wing pilots, one's for the TIE fighters. I think it's like $10. You can go out and get the Millennium Falcon one, and it comes with his own set of cards and a completely different game you can play. There's what else is there? There's Boba Fett. There's just who knows how many different extra little sets you can go out there and get, and it completely changes the dynamic of the game. Where the X-wing fighters are super fast, but they can get killed easily. The TIE fighter super fast, but can killed easily. The Millennium Falcon can destroy you in one hit, even bigger ships, but it's not as fast. But it can get fast, I guess, with some card, and that's where the Han Solo stuff comes in, where the Kessel Run and stuff. But yeah, man. So that I thought that's cool. I would love to because my brother's my roommate. He just moved in not too long ago, and I thought that would be cool to just sit down one night and play X-wing with him. And it's to me sitting around with a few beers doing that might be fun, more fun than sitting around and playing a PlayStation or something.
There you go.
I love Star Wars, so why not? So I thought that was cool. I want to get the Millennium Falcon one and the Fett ship, and yeah, I guess there's like different ways to play. There's like you can be smuggling something, or there's like all these different things involved into it. I know I'm making it sound very basic, but there's all these cards that you're dealt, and you have to react depending on the card, or you can use the card and get special moves. I don't know. It's a board game, pretty much. But I've been wanting to get into that, so that's really cool that's kind of around your town. I know it's not cool that's the only spot. I'm kind of spoiled when it comes to that. I got a lot of spots here that there's this one new one opening up at the Florida Mall or the Millennium Mall, or I forget which one it is, but it's called like Gods and Monsters, and it's this huge store, and they're doing a lot of that stuff with the board games and whatnot. The place looks huge. I'll send you a link about it after the show, and you can look at it. It looks like the seats apparently in this place are going to look exactly like the seats in the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Oh,
like,
really? Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, like the old, whatever you call it, the where Han Solo was sitting with Guido. It looks exactly like that, and so I thought, oh, that place is going to be fun. People are going to want to go there for sure and play games and stuff. So, but yeah, man. So I forgot where I was at, but
Free Comic Book Day is Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Go pick up free comic books at your local comic book store.
Exactly, yeah. Go pick that up. And it's perfect because today on Wednesday, Marvel's dropping New Avengers and Avengers. They're one of those was pushed from last week. I was kind of like, wait, where's the Avengers? And it's for today. So both the last issue of Avengers and the last issue of New Avengers comes out.
Thank God.
Right, yeah, that runs over with. And I could not be more excited because I want to know what's next. I've been off a little bit with comics, I have to say, since kind of we started the show. I thought we'd be talking about it a little bit more, but they haven't been grabbing my attention. And I think, and then on Free Comic Book Day, issue 1 drops. Zero issue, I'm sorry. And then issue 1 drops on Wednesday? Or does it drop on
I would think so.
Free Comic Book Day?
No, Zero. Secret Wars 0 is on Free Comic Book Day. I know that much.
Okay. So I imagine Secret Wars 1 is going to be on Wednesday. The fall. Yeah, that's what I read. Okay, so it's gonna. So yeah, it's perfect. It's this on Wednesday we have the ending of Avengers, and then on Saturday we're gonna have issue 0, and then Wednesday we're gonna have Secret Wars #1, and I can't fucking wait for that. Like that's oh man, and I know like my brother wants to get an issue. People that don't even really read comics are like, I kind of want to get in on that. I want to know what that's about because that's going to be a great starting point for people, I think, at least. Maybe after Secret Wars, but I think Secret Wars 1, these characters kind of from the movies anyway, so like I don't know. I'm excited. So, but yeah, I can ramble on about that forever. But let's get into the TV's kind of light this week, so I guess we can kind of go into it. You want to say what's going on?
Yeah. Because everybody is starved for original programming anymore, BET has decided that Punk'd should make a return.
Okay.
I
haven't seen Punk'd in forever.
It had its it had its like one-off comeback like 3 or 4 years ago.
Right. Well, didn't MTV do that?
Yeah. How did
that happen? How did BET? Aren't they like their competitors?
Are they? I don't know who owns them.
Oh, they don't do music anymore.
Well, nobody does music anymore.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't watch BET either, so I don't know if they do music either.
I don't. Okay. I don't know. Like MTV, BET, VH1, like I was never really into any of them, so I don't know from anything. But
right.
This is not like bringing it back like, hey, special. It's like, no, they're actually going to bring it back as a series, just like MTV is bringing back Celebrity Deathmatch. Like this is a real thing again, which hey, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
when it came out, I think we were kind of at the sweet spot for it, at least. Maybe not us personally, because I don't know. I thought it was a cool idea. It was funny to see some of them. Like I remember going into school and someone going, "Hey, did you see what they did to blah blah blah?" And I was, excuse me, and I was like, the wine's getting to me, but I'm just kidding. But yeah, I was like, oh, that's funny. Like I want to see that. Someone did what to who, But I wasn't too much into it. I wasn't, I'm not really for like, I don't know, celebrity or reality stars or anything like that. But I thought it was a cool idea, and then it kind of went away. So it's gonna be interesting I remember when that was out, the big thing, and I'm guilty of it too. Was trucker hats. Do you remember those?
yeah,
I remember everyone had a trucker hat. And what was it? It was Van or what was the brand?
Vans. Yeah, wasn't
No,
it?
no, no, no.
No.
It wasn't Vans. Oh my God, hold on a second. This is gonna bother me.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
Von Dutch, I think. Yeah. It was Von Dutch hats, and I remember looking at them. And I'm like, that hat kind of looks cool. And then I saw the price of them for like $100 and some odd dollars.
yeah.
Like, holy shit! But then again, I can't get too weird about stuff because I just remembered that the Lego set I was looking at is way more expensive than.
Yeah, true. True.
Okay. I'm looking at a Von Dutch hat now. Guess how much expensive they are?
Uh,
$28. How the mighty has fallen.
uh,
Yeah, we should bring that back. Punk's coming back. I think I'm gonna go get a Von Dutch hat and be like, look what
well,
I.
I
No,
mean,
I'm just kidding.
we're
No, I'm
seeing
just
the
kidding.
revival of Jinko jeans, so why the hell
Hey,
not?
why not? Maybe All American Rejects will come out with a new new album next month. But
Aren't they?
oh, I was just kidding. I have no idea.
God, I actually think there was some news about that not too long
Oh
ago.
man,
Oh
I was
no.
I'll be honest. It was I think it was the first All American Rejects. There was this girl that I was really into. She loved whatever song it was and listened to the album, and I really liked it. There was a time or a period there where I was like, this album's great. Looking back now, it's not so good. But I mean, they say everyone's changes like every 7 years what they're into. So I don't know. Well, hey, for Punk fans and I guess BET fans, there you go. You got a new season of it. Why not? I mean, I'm surprised something like that didn't survive on through like YouTube or something.
Well, I mean, it kind of in a way we've had it just kind of hit critical mass really, where I mean,
Right. Like how?
it just kind of became okay. The novelty has worn off now.
Right. It's one of those things. It's kind of like Borat to me. It's like everyone knows as soon as you saw Ashton Kutcher, something's up. He couldn't do it after the first season, so he got other people to do it. But then those people actually kind of became a little famous. Wasn't there? What's his name was on that show? Jack or Dax Shepard? Like, isn't it? He came from that show. And so like Daniel. It was like Daniel. No, was Daniel Tosh on it? I don't know.
I don't know.
But I'm reading here, this is the second time they revived it. They did it in 2002, then they revived it in 2012,
Yeah, yeah, it
and I
came
guess
back
now
for
this is
yeah.
the third, hey, three times a charm, I
Yeah,
guess.
it came back for like a quick, like, hey, we're gonna try this again, and then they only did like one, I think.
Yeah, it was probably like one season or something. But hey, that's cool, I guess. He's got to do something after that show that just went off the air. What is it called?
Two and a Half
Two and
Men.
a Half Men. Yeah. So hey, who knows? I mean, I don't know. The thing that I really dig right now with like celebrities and stuff is the roast. Like, did you see the Justin Bieber one?
I did, and that one was actually kind of funny. Like
Yeah, I liked that. I thought that was hilarious.
I've hated almost all of the other ones.
Oh really?
Yeah, the James
Huh.
Franco one was funny, but all the rest, like, I hated all the other
Right.
ones.
Well, you don't like James Franco, do you?
No, but I mean,
forgot,
James and I have a strange relationship. I hate him as a person, but I really love him as an actor.
Yeah,
I can't
I love
take
it.
that away from him. I really wish I could, but
I
just
love his
can't.
films. Yeah, I don't know anything about his personal life, but I think he's funny in his films. I like the meta stuff about him that he does. Like when what was that movie? The End. I think we saw
This
that,
is the
right?
end. This is the end. Yeah.
Right, that was like the culmination for me, where it took all the stuff where they're like geeks forever, geeks for life, or whatever, like all the stuff from all the things he's been in, and that one movie they just ripped on each other about, and it was like a roast of the movie. Like you could tell that was such a personal project for them,
Oh yeah.
where they were like, hey, let's make characters kind of how they like. You could tell Seth Rogen was playing Seth Rogen, but they were taking other characters like Michael Cera, and they were like, let's just flip it on its head and make him the most obnoxious, drug addict, crazy person at the party. Oh my god! When people tell me they didn't like that film, I'm like, what is there not to like? Like, are you a robot? Like, that was great. But I guess I'm a little different, I guess, because I'm so meta when it comes to those things. I obsess over behind the scenes. How they interact with each other. I'm a fucking crazy person, so I kind of knew those inside jokes, and I think you did too. You totally got a lot of them, because you're kind of like me. You like to do the same things too. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
but I think the people who don't really care about any of that, when they like, oh, I know James Franco from 2 films, and wasn't he on the Academy Awards? They're not gonna get half the film. They're just gonna see it as like, well, that joke was funny. Everyone's laughing, but I don't really get, I think that's how they were kind of sitting in the theater like, oh, okay, geeks for life, whatever that means,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, so there you go, Punked. That should be cool. I guess we can go into, let's do, let's see here. We'll do movies and then we'll do games. This show might be a little shorter than normal because we're recording pretty late. But yeah, let's get into it. There's a lot of movie news. The first thing, let's get into what should we get into here? Let's get into the Joker.
Which one? The one we have, or the one we had, or the one we thought we were gonna have that we aren't gonna have?
I don't know what you start. You lead into this because I don't know what you mean. You go and I'll follow.
Okay. So we've had like little teases of Jared Leto in different phases of Joker makeup for the last like couple weeks.
Right.
And so we finally got a good look at him with the hair and the skin and prison tattoos.
Right.
And the internet lost its mind.
I didn't believe it was real at first. I honestly thought when I saw it on Facebook, I was like, well, that's like a fan-made thing. Like, oh, well, that's a really well-made fan-made thing. And then I read the article and I was like, oh no, they're actually doing this.
Yeah, and of course, everybody just freaked.
Yeah, he looks like he got fired from Hot Topic.
Yeah.
I thought
you said it. Go ahead. You had
no he looks like a juggalo. We've all heard and seen what the riffraff meme of like it's like that's not terrifying. That's pathetic to me. Like when I thought no, I don't want the Joker to be a guy that just got fired from Hot Topic. I want him to be terrifying. I want him to be different. I want to see Jared Leto do his own take on the Joker.
Well, that would have been different.
As much as I preach about like, I kind of want characters to stay the same, I don't. I want to see something different. The Jokers have always been kind of different. I mean, to be completely honest, Mark Hamill is my favorite Joker. When I think of the Joker, I hear the Joker, it's Mark Hamill from the Batman animated series. Heath Ledger's Joker was very different. He still kind of had like the suit and stuff on, but he was like terrifying, and like this is something someone could really do. Like this was not he wasn't too flamboyant or too over the top. He was fucking crazy, slamming people, making pencils disappear and stuff. And there was just something about his war paint or whatever he called it that was just terrifying, and not in an insane clown posse way, not in like I want to look like Lil Wayne or Riff Raff way. The tattoos looked bad, and I'm not against tattoos. Like it was too on the nose when it was literally above his nose and said damaged on his forehead. It was a little too much. Like if he had some tattoos on his body, I could care less. Whatever. We probably wouldn't see it most of the time. But it said ha 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 ha. It's a damaged. It looked like someone obsessed with the Joker and not the Joker himself. It looked like somebody that the Joker would send into a building to get blown up, because he could like that guy's a little too much into me. I don't know. It's just weird. But I went through like, what do you call it? The 7 stages of mourning, you know. It was like anger, you know, and then I fought with myself, and then I came to terms, and you know, and then when I came to terms,
They decided, no, he's
they
not gonna have
decided no,
tattoos.
right? Because I saw some Photoshop
Uh,
where they took they took the tattoos out and they kind of put him in a more of a Joker suit, and I thought, holy shit, that looks good. Like he looks like a Joker. Like that looks like an actual like terrifying Joker. And it was those little slight changes that I thought, oh, that looks great. What if they did that? And then it was like, hey, by the way, we were just kidding. Or I don't even know what the official. I don't even know if there was an official statement. I think they were just like, that's not actually what he's going to look like in the film. So who knows? Maybe they heard the backlash. Maybe they heard the. There's always backlash, and that's the thing. Like with Heath Ledger, people got backlash when they heard it was him. You know, they were like, "Oh, I don't know about him doing that."
there's
But
been, yeah,
when they saw him, it was different. I remember seeing his picture, and I was sitting around a bunch of people at work, and they were like, "Oh, wow, that actually looks crazy." You know, with the lips and everything, and he looked terrifying. But it was like the opposite with this. When people heard Jared Leto, they were like, "Okay, that's great. He's a great actor." But then when they saw the picture, they were like, "Oh no 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 no." So I don't know. I like I said, I was actually fine towards the end. I was like, look, as I always complain about how things are never changed up and things are not different in it, and that's the thing. I'm all for different, but I don't want the core of the character to change. And that just seemed like that looked pathetic. Like those tattoos. I don't know.
yeah, but here's the thing. In Scott Snyder's recent Death of the Family story arc, the Joker cut his face off and duct taped it back on.
I'd be in for that. I'd be on for that. Oh my god! And that was it's funny you say that
Oh
because
no.
I was in a group chat with my friends, and I was like, you know what? I would be totally down for the new Joker in the comics because he's kind of got like the new kind of fashion hairdo where it's like all shaved on the sides but only on top. And I was like, before that, he actually didn't have his face because like the doll maker cut it off and he just wore it as a mask. And one of my buddies was like, "Oh, that's fucking horrifying! Like they could not do that." And I thought that would be perfect, you know, if they like went by the Joker's. And here's the thing, the maybe we don't know what's going to happen in the film. We don't know the plot, the synopsis. We don't know what's going to happen. But from what I remember reading, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they were saying he's going to be like the Hannibal Lecter, where like they're going after Batman, and the person that knows him the best is the Joker. So they use him as a consultant, which to me seems backwards. I assumed when I heard all the news, when I heard the characters that were going to be in it, my first thought was, okay, Joker's going to be the crazy person and they've got these team of villains. Harley Quinn's going to lead them because she knows the most about the Joker, and that's what the film's going to be. And you know, maybe Batman pops in, but from what I read, it's going to kind of be the opposite, where they're going after, I think Batman, and the Joker's going to be like, well, he's the one that knows him best. We should probably go and ask him. I don't know. Did you read anything like that, or am I just?
I hadn't seen anything like that. I wouldn't be entirely surprised, given that there've been bat sightings on set recently.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I saw that. Did you see the picture of Amanda Waller?
No,
It looked good. It
Yeah?
looked like Amanda Waller. I saw the picture and I was like, "Yep, that's Amanda Waller. That's exactly what I imagined she would look like in, you know, on the big screen."
Are we doing New 52 or are we going old school?
It's old school. I don't know what
Okay.
she even looks like in the new 52.
Slimmer, younger.
Oh no, she's not. Well, she's not slimmer. She just looks like a normal woman, if you know what I mean. Like she doesn't look. She looks like Amanda Waller from the comics.
Okay.
You know.
So
more. Yeah, she looks a little thick, but she looks. It's not, you know, crazy or anything. It looks like Amanda Waller.
Right. This is somebody who's who's had the years of experience and
Yes.
leading.
Totally.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all for that. I'm
Yeah.
definitely all for that.
She looks powerful. Like he looks like okay, yeah. She looks like, and I guess I'm saying that because I remember reading Amanda Waller's words and like just the way she came down on people. Like when I saw the pictures, like, yep, I could totally see her doing that. And so yeah, I'm excited. That film is probably out of the list of the films that they listed. I can't get too excited about ones that are coming out. Who knows how long from now? But that was the one that was like, that to me is going to be their Guardians of the Galaxy. That's going to
I
be
don't
the one
know.
that's out there. They're loading it full of talent, and it's the one that they're going to kind of get behind. Well, the other ones are going to draw audiences anyway. Everyone's going to go see Flash, Aquaman, Wonder Woman. We've been waiting for those films forever. I think those are going to be big hits. The one that's kind of like, who the hell is a Suicide Squad? If you're not watching Arrow or Flash, you probably don't know who they are if you don't read comics either. I mean, of course, but that's kind of the oddball. And so they had to load it with these there's some amazing talent in there. Will Smith of all people, and
Don't
it's going
remind
to be
me.
cool. I think that's why they had to kind of put the Joker in it and Harley Quinn. Like, we're going to get a fucking live action Harley Quinn. I'm excited. And so
And
that to me was the Guardians. Sorry, go
they
ahead.
added Common to the film
Yes,
in
yes.
in an unspecified role. What are they doing still casting this thing?
Right.
And
Yeah.
not just
You
it,
think he's gonna be Green Lantern? Wasn't he rumored to be Green Lantern yeah, he was rumored to be Green Lantern when they were doing the Justice League movie, before they were doing Batman Begins. They were setting up a Justice League film, and then it was canned, and then they did Batman Begins. And I believe Common was the one Common was the one that they came out and said that's their guy, and then they canned it.
yeah, and hey, it's whatever. I don't expect him to be. I don't expect to see any Justice Leaguer cameos aside from maybe Batman.
Yeah.
I don't foresee a lot of tying into this because I don't see this movie really doing anything other than suck. So like
Oh, really?
no,
You're not excited about it?
man, I'm sorry. I look at this cast and some of this cast is really interesting.
You like
Some
Jared Leto.
I love Jared Leto. I think he's awesome, and I love
Yeah.
who's it? Margot Robbie, I think is her name. That's
Yeah.
doing Harley Quinn. I'm all for it. The part of the cast that I'm not on board with, that's fine. I'm not gonna like everybody in an ensemble film. Big deal. I
Right.
just I don't see this working because the way that DC keeps trying to push some of their films, and with a lot of the same creative people being involved in all of these, it's
Yeah.
it's the opposite of what happens at Marvel. Like,
No, no.
like
Hey, dude, we've talked about that for how long is that?
yeah.
I'm right there with you. They don't make different films, and
Well, but I
but
mean, it's not even that. It's like you have uh, the equivalence here when it comes to films. Uh, David Goyer is DC's version of Kevin Feige to
Mhm.
me. That's the way I look at it, and that's a terrible, terrible thing
Yeah, no,
because
I agree.
everything that's wrong with DC's slate of movies, even going back through the problems with Batman Begins, going that far back, the problems that Constantine has had.
Oh yeah, dude.
I blame him for everything. And I say this because of when he did the live script notes podcast, and he got a lot of flack for the way he brought up a handful of characters. He talked about She-Hulk and Doctor Strange, and just it showed he doesn't know the audience. He doesn't understand the audience. And it continues to show in everything that he's involved in. And I think that until he's gone, DC is not going to turn. People are going to turn out and they're going to say, "Wow!" When you compare these two, because you can't not compare DC and Marvel's movies, fair or not fair. It's law of the jungle. It is what it is.
Yeah,
And
they don't
people,
compare. They don't compare at all. Dude,
and they
I
just
have been preaching that forever too.
yeah. And I mean, they're going to look at him and they're going to say, "Wow." All of DC's movies are dark and gritty and blah blah blah, and we're tired of that already.
Yeah.
We had 3 movies of that before we had Man of Steel, and that was dark and gritty. And now Batman vs Superman is gonna be dark and gritty, and Suicide Squad is gonna be dark and gritty. That one I would give you. I would say yes, make that one dark and gritty
But
because
see, that's the thing. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is that this one fits the mold of what they've been doing. It's like they've been. It's like they have. It's almost like they have the same staff on every single film.
exactly.
And it's like the only thing they can do is this dark and gritty, dark and gritty. Make it darker, no humor. You know, there was rumor not too long ago where there was a release through their company that said no more humor in their films.
That's such a problem. The Suicide Squad needs dark comedy. It needs to be a black comedy.
It does. Yeah, no, it totally
that
does.
That would make it perfect. That
right,
would be
exactly.
fantastic. It needs to have gallows humor throughout the entire thing, not flooded with it, but these are criminals that they're kind of resigned to this, so they're going to be what they are.
And see, I think it's because Dark Knight was such a success, and we loved those films. I loved those films. But the problem is they work that type of style of film, and it's kind of hard to explain to some people like that just go and see the films and they don't care about any of the production, where I'm like, the color scheme through those films works, but I don't want to see that in Superman. I want bright. I want Superman. That's where that would fit. I would want, color in that film, and you don't get any of it. It is the exact same tone as that. The music, everything is exactly like the Christopher Nolan films. And so getting that in every other film, I'm not going to like that. I don't want, Flash to feel like that. I don't want Aquaman to feel like that. When that picture was released of Aquaman, I thought, that is exactly what I am, it looked like a badass picture. He looked great, but I guess I shouldn't expect anything different. We knew we weren't going to get Aquaman looking like he does in the comics.
No,
and believe me, I don't want that. I don't want that. But, there's some difference when, like you said, in the Marvel side of things where Thor feels more like fantasy science fiction than Iron Man. Iron Man doesn't feel like the Thor films. The Thor films don't feel like Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy does not feel like the Avengers film. They're very much different.
Yeah.
The Incredible Hulk doesn't feel like any of those other kind of films. And so that's kind of what set them apart. And we're going to be getting Doctor Strange.
Oh, my God.
The talent they put into that film is all horror stuff. So it's like they're not putting the talent, they're not putting the writers who did, Thor or Captain America. That's another one. That last Captain America film didn't feel like the first Captain America film, and it didn't feel like any of the other Marvel films. It felt more like a political thriller than anything. And so, like, it's not like they don't take that staff and put it on Ant-Man, or put it on Doctor Strange. They get different talent, and the movies feel very different. And that's where I think DC is going to. It's going to be a problem in a few years, because every film is going to feel the same, and that's what happened not too long ago with comic book movies in general. Daredevil felt and looked like X-Men, and it felt and looked like all the other Blade. Like, imagine if all the Marvel films felt like Blade. It would be shit. It would be absolute shit. And I actually think so that would not be good. And so I'm right there with you. Suicide Squad. That's why it's the only one, ironically, that I kind of got excited about, because I was like, I could see how DC's doing their films, and I hope they prove all of us wrong. But that's the only one that fits that mold to me. If they do that, I don't want to see a dark and gritty Flash fighting with himself, about whatever. I want to see him. Flash should feel more fun. DC gets it right in the TV shows.
Yeah.
And Flash feels very much different from Arrow. And when my friends who like Arrow like the dark and gritty, and I see that they like that in the films too. They like the Nolan films. They don't like the Flash because Flash is more fun. It's a little bit brighter. I say to them, okay, you don't have to like it. It makes sense why you don't like it, because you don't like that in the film genre either. So it's cool. You don't have to like it, but I love it. Like, the Flash has way more fan service in one season than the Arrow has in 3.
Yeah, by leaps and bounds. But I mean,
there's stuff that happens in the last episode. I'm not going to say a word. But oh, the whole time, and there's like the pop culture references that Cisco does. He nails it every, and
I love
there's
Cisco.
he's my favorite. And when I see him wear the shirts, I'm like, I own that shirt. I have that shirt. Oh, there's the walrus or the what do you call it with this? I don't know, the lightsaber is the nose. I was like, I have that shirt. Like, he's kind of like the fanboy in
Yes.
the show that.
Yes.
Yeah, that like me and you, like they put him in there
He
to
is
be like
us.
the comic book fans are gonna relate to him.
Yes. He is
And
us. Absolutely.
exactly, and it's genius because how are they gonna all when when you heard Rainbow Rider and all these ridiculous cartoon all these different comic book characters are gonna be in there, you thought, well, how could they call them the wizard, the weather wizard and stuff or stuff like that. So it's like, of course you're gonna have a comic book geek guy in there going, he should be the weather wizard, and they made it an ongoing gag in the show, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
It fits. It totally fits. And oh man, we'll talk after you see the last episode. But there's some stuff in there where I'm like, yes, this is total fan service, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And
Yeah.
oh, it's almost like I am way more into their TV stuff than I am their movies. I'm way more excited about their TV stuff than I am the movies. They have that spin-off show coming out soon.
Yeah.
With the like the mixture of cast that I guarantee you it's gonna be called the Brave and the Bold. It's gotta be. It's gotta be the Brave and the
They're saying it's going to be called Legends.
Legends. Well,
That's
I guess
that's
that
what
works.
I've seen, which sounds stupid. But,
Yeah, Brave and the Bold would have been a lot better
yeah.
because
But
that would make sense.
But again,
like
this is rumored, so I mean I don't know.
Legends. What?
Hey, I'm right there with you. And I mean, look, when it comes to the movies, I'm not. Listen, when Justice League comes out, whenever it is, I don't have the list in front of me. I'm not looking for a Super Friends movie, but
No.
come on, we could just.
But I don't want them all to be Batman in the film, though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't want it to be Bruce Wayne under every single cowl and cape in that film.
Exactly.
I want them all to feel different. That's what makes it so great. When we in Marvel, granted, they had it working for them when they had all of these films to build the characters up. So when you saw them for the first time in the scenes together, you were like, yes, oh shit, he's saying Shakespeare in the Park. Like, this is great. This is exactly what Iron Man would say to Thor and stuff. It was fantastic. When I see the DC characters in one film, Batman and Superman gave me the same damn feeling in that trailer of each other. They both were just brooding and dark, and it would have made such a vast difference if when they show Superman it's a little bit brighter, when they show Batman it's a little bit darker. All of that affects your psyche when you see a film, and to me that would have been such a contrast, and it would have been perfect. But they didn't do that. It's all dark, it's all gritty, and they don't feel different. So when I see the Flash in the Justice League film, I want it to feel different when he's in the room. I want his attitude, how he presents himself. Same with the Green Lantern, same with Aquaman. But it seems like they're all going to be just do you bleed? Like, are they really going to sit around and ask each other? I want them to ask Wonder. No, I'm just kidding. But like,
Dude, no, come on.
I'm just kidding. Did you see that joke? Yeah, but yeah, man, it's
not cool, not cool.
Yeah. Might want to cut that out, but yeah, man, it's I just don't want them all to be the same. I want them to feel different. I want Wonder Woman to feel different when she's in the film. Same with Aquaman, and who knows? Maybe we'll get Martian the Manhunter in it. But yeah. So anyway, where we go? But yeah, Suicide Squad. Let's see here.
So yeah,
Joker has tattoo. No, he doesn't. Oh, Common was cast in a specific role. That's right.
Yeah.
He's got to be Green Lantern, I think.
Well, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Look, we all know we're all gonna still go see it regardless. But like,
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Give me a trailer. Show me something. I mean, I know this is what, next year, right?
Yeah, it's gotta be. I think it's they're doing the Batman Superman, and it's gonna be Suicide Squad.
Just I'll hold final judgment until I start seeing trailers. But like, I'm not excited. It's kind of the same way I feel about Fantastic Four. It's like I'm just not. I'm not down enough on it to not go see it, but I'm not excited.
Hmm.
It's just kind of like, yeah, I'll go see it kind of because I feel like I have to. Like that's it. It almost feels like an obligation, which kind of sucks. But like I'm aware of what I'm probably getting, so I'm not going to be disappointed. I'll put it that way.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's our levels of expectation. It's not high with them. So if it's good, that'd be great. Like I said, if I go see Fantastic Four and I'm like, that was way better than I thought it was going to be, I hope that happens. I really do hope that happens because I don't want to spend that much money for something that sucks. And that's kind of like, it's weird. We live in a day and age where we are blessed with all of this geeky stuff. But
Yeah.
if your franchise is being done with shit, you're kind of stuck with shit for at least 10 years because every studio is deciding to do a whole, they're deciding to do the Marvel route before they even release a film, which is weird,
Well, I
so
mean,
you're kind of
think about it this way: Marvel through their movies from Iron Man to now.
yeah,
Just over the last 7 years. That's all we've had. 7 years, and we're getting ready to have our second Avengers movie. I want everybody just to take a second and think about that. 10 years ago, people would have said if you had laid out what Marvel's going to do with their movies, they would say two things. They would say that's brilliant, and they're never going to do it because it's insane.
yeah,
And
yeah.
here we are. I've got to believe that in those 7 years, Marvel has made more money than they have with comics in the last 70 years.
Oh yeah.
Like,
If
and
you would
that's
have sat any comic book geek down in the 90s and you would have said, in 2000, and I don't even know what year it's going to be, 16, 17 or whatever, there's going to be an Avengers Infinity War film, a movie about the Infinity Gems. No one would believe you. No,
yeah.
no, they would call you fucking crazy. They'd be like, "We've seen Superman and Batman. That's it." No one would believe you. There'd be a film about the Infinity Gems or Rocket Raccoon of all people. Like
Yeah,
no one would.
that's the one they wouldn't believe. You could
No.
get away with the Infinity Gems. People might
Oh.
believe that, but you would never. No one would ever say
Well,
there's gonna be $150 million budget movie that's got Rocket Raccoon in it.
right, exactly.
Nobody
Well, I
would
mean,
believe it.
Infinity Gem. I mean, like they're so in now. They're so embedded that like they could easily do something a little bit different. That would make a little bit more sense on the movie platform, I think. But they're going for it. They're going after these stories that are beloved by comic book fans. That I would never think Infinity War would be a good film. I don't know if you've ever
All
read
right,
it.
dude. All right, dude.
It's got to not
Repeat.
be much to do with it,
Yeah,
but I never
repeat
thought that
after
would be a
me.
good film. Sorry, what were you saying?
Repeat after me. Infinity. You're missing a syllable there, and it's driving me crazy.
Wait, what am I saying?
Infiny.
Oh, Infinity. I meant Affinity. Sorry. But yeah,
I know,
no,
I know. I'm the jackass. I know. I can't help
no,
it.
no, it's okay. I have a speech impediment, I think. So no, I'm just kidding. Didn't want to make you feel bad. But yeah, no, dude, it's to think that they would have these films that are coming out. I would, I think around what was it? When did Spider-Man come out? Like late
Oh,
90s?
oh, 02.
Oh yeah, it had been '02 because it was after 9/11.
Because
So
they had the trailer with the
yeah,
helicopter got webbed between the towers and then and that was before, and then
right.
they pulled that trailer immediately.
Yeah, and I mean around that time, Iron Man was a B-list character.
Yeah,
So to see them get so deep into it, I just love it. I love that we're getting these films.
If
It. Who knows? In a few years, we might have Moon Knight, the Netflix series, which I would love. It's just
that would work.
yeah.
I'm serious. If in like Guardians 2 they decide to drop in Adam Warlock as a way to set up the Infinity War, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind.
Oh, he will.
I'm
No,
gonna,
let's put that on the books right now. He's gonna be Adam Warlock will be in the next phase, guaranteed.
I'm just gonna completely lose my mind if suddenly they decide to drop him in somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna lose it. Like,
Yeah, no, man, I'm right there with you. He's got to be in there. Well, let's stay on this. We're talking about Marvel, so let's stay on Marvel. Spider-Man.
yes.
Rumors. And I think one of them's like they're really set on one kid.
Yeah, there's a short list. Nat Wolff from The Fault in Our Stars, Tom Holland from what's this thing on now, the TV series, Wolf Hall, and he was on the Impossible. Liam James, who was in 2012, and he plays the younger version of the one dude on Psych, and Timothy Chalamet, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, plays the teenage version of the son in Interstellar, but it does seem like they're set on Asa Butterfield from Ender's
Yeah.
Game and Hugo. And I kind of, as soon as I saw the list, I'm like, that's who they're gonna get. I don't, he's not my favorite of that list, but hey, whatever. Yeah, I mean, kid's good. You can't argue with that. But
Yeah, I saw that movie. I didn't think much of it. That was the one with Harrison Ford, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't too excited. Who was the kid from The Fault in Our Stars?
okay.
Oh, Nat Wolff. No,
Nat
I'm just
Wolff.
trying to think
Yeah,
of
sorry.
what he was he the blind one in the movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, 'cause I was trying to think of who would he have been, but yeah, that makes sense. Thought he was cool in that film.
The lead, probably.
Yeah, no, I thought his character was hilarious in
Yeah.
that film. But yeah,
They
gosh,
seem like,
yeah, I haven't seen much of him. So hey, he looks like he could be Spider-Man. He looks young enough,
yeah.
definitely.
Hey, dude, we're just getting, and the word going around is that it's going to be called Spider-Man: The New Avenger,
Well,
and
that
I'm
makes
like,
perfect
that's
sense.
what a perfect way to say. Oh, by the way, ignore all the other Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, no, they've said we are not doing an origin film. When they said that, I
No,
was like, yes, they're listening.
absolutely. Well,
They have
because
someone in there going, guys, they don't want to see an origin film again. He's going to be in high school, granted, but whatever. That's most Spider-Man comics anyway.
yeah,
So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him being in high school. We don't need to tell the story of him and Ben and all that stuff over again. It can be briefly mentioned. It can be a big part of his, who he is. But we don't need to see that anymore. We need to see him as Spider-Man. Open up the film with him as Spider-Man beating the shit out of somebody. That'd be great. That we're all in. People are buying tickets for that anyway. Let's start out with that. And so it's kind of sucks because I thought Andrew Garfield. I thought he was hands down way better than Tobey Maguire
oh,
was.
leagues.
Oh, leagues better, yeah. And the chemistry he had with Emma Stone was just perfect. So in my mind, those two Spider-Man films, the second one had a lot of problems, but I loved the best thing about them was the two characters themselves, Peter and Emma. They had that part of those two films to me was way better than the original trilogy. The original trilogy was great. I don't want to take anything away from it. I really liked the second one and the first one too because it was a breath of fresh air. And back then, when superhero movies were kind of like I love X-Men the comic book, but I was not really that big of a fan of the movies. That was like, oh shit, like this is great. Spider-Man's flying all over the place. But these newer ones, I know they get a lot of shit, but I actually really liked the characters in them a lot more. The quieter moments between them two was Peter and Mary Gwen. I'm sorry, Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
But it was
No,
it was it was great.
they're gonna have to really impress me to just for me to be okay with that because I hated that's the only thing that I hate about all of this is that Andrew doesn't get to be Spider-Man anymore. I loved him.
Right.
He was awesome. He was perfect as Peter Parker. He was great as Spider-Man. It sucks. That to me just genuinely sucks because he
It
was
does.
fantastic.
It does, but we'll see him in other things, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, when anyone, I know me and you take away the same feeling about it. I'm sure most people do too. I don't think anyone's ever gonna give him shit like, oh, you were the, it's kind of like Brandon. What was it? What's his last name? Brandon Roth.
Brandon Routh. Yeah.
Ralph, yeah. I thought he was a good Superman. Everything else in the film had problems, but to me at least. Not everything, but it was just kind of like,
It
there's your
wasn't.
dream job, there's your dream gig, but
Yeah.
the movie didn't do well, so it was like we got to give it to someone else. He wasn't the problem in that film. I thought
No.
he looked like Christopher Reeves. Like when you look
Yeah.
back,
Oh man, that was
oh,
just crazy.
and he played the part. He did well with the work he was given, but the work he was given was very slow. It was not a fantastical Superman film.
Yeah.
So it's not his fault. I mean, so yeah, it's
And DC, you could tell understood that because they brought him back as Ray Palmer
Yeah.
for Arrow and the Flash crossovers, and now the spin-off series. Like you could tell they kept him in mind.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
he
Totally.
has, you can tell he has so much fun
Oh
playing
yeah.
that
Oh yeah.
character, especially with the last Flash crossover.
Oh
He was,
yeah.
oh man, he and Cisco played perfectly.
Oh yeah.
That was fantastic.
Oh yeah. Exactly. And so it's good. It's good to see him like that. And maybe down the road somewhere we'll see Andrew in something else. He's a great actor. He's going to be in a lot more things. And just being in two Spider-Man films, it's also not going to pigeonhole him as Spider-Man either. I think Tobey Maguire kind of got that. He's been in some other films, but after Spider-Man, he's kind of been off everyone's radar. So I don't think that same thing's going to happen to Andrew either, because Tobey was kind of like he was the first Spider-Man. So like everyone kind of associated him with Spider-Man after that. You could not see Spider-Man when you saw him in other things. Where I don't think that's not going to be the case with him. But yeah, so yeah, that's going to be great. We love Spider-Man. I know you love Spider-Man. I hope Miles is somehow in there mentioned. I hope it's teased, and then they can do his own. I hope he gets his own film. He's got to, like, out of all the characters in the Spider-Man verse, I guess you would say, in that own little world. Everyone likes Venom, but I don't think that would make that good of a movie. But as like an ally to Spider-Man, I love Miles. I hope that he's like, his best friend that lives down the street or something.
Here, here.
Yeah, yeah. And Genki too. God, he's got it. Oh, I imagine seeing that dynamic in a film. It'd be cool. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's stay with Marvel with films.
Okay.
Captain America.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a few things. I'm horrible with names, so you want to say who's confirmed?
Daniel Bruhl, who was in Inglourious Bastards.
Mhm.
He is going to be. It had kind of been rumored, and it had been everything except officially confirmed. Really, he will be playing Baron Zemo in the upcoming Civil War film, which is fantastic news.
Yes, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't know much about the character.
I'll get
I've s-
for anybody and for you and for anyone else out there. They did a sequel to the Avengers Arena comic. It was called Avengers Undercover, and it dealt with that group of young Avengers infiltrating like the Masters of Evil kind of network. It's what, like a handful of issues. I don't even know if they made it to a dozen issues, but it tells a story. It's a whole arc, and it gives you a look into particularly Baron Zemo and his attitude, his operating style,
okay.
everything. Go
Yeah,
check it
no,
out.
I'll get that right
Yeah.
after the show because I'm looking at the cover right now. That looks cool.
Yeah, Avengers Undercover.
I read Arena until like the very end. So after the show, I want the spoilers from that because I want to know what happened. Like they killed a lot of people in that.
Yeah, they
And
really did.
yeah, so I was always curious if it was like this. We know it was Arcade that was the guy in it. So I was curious if it was one of those like, well, they're not really dead, things. I think that they actually did die. So,
Oh no, yeah, they did.
which kind of sucks, but yeah, we'll talk about it after. I don't want to
Yeah.
spoil anything for anybody, but yeah, no. I think this Avengers Undercover was out around the time where it's like there's literally 10 Avengers comics, and I'm like, I have to. Comics are super expensive, so I had to cut them down to like New Avengers and Avengers, and I kind of wish I didn't do that either because they got fucking retarded. I shouldn't say that. They got ridiculous. And so when I saw Secret Avengers and Undercover Avengers and Avengers AI, I was a little Avengers out. Same with X-Men. I kind of stick to the writers that I liked. Like when Jason Aaron was doing Wolverine and the X-Men, I loved it. I kind of stuck with Uncanny X-Men a little bit because I thought it was cool. It was different. There's a whole new group of X-Men, and Cyclops, the crazy person that he is now, was leading them. I liked all new X-Men because of Brian Michael Bendis. But anyway, but yeah. So when it gets to like 10 different versions of teams, I have to make some cuts, and that I guess I didn't know anything about it. But what you just described sounds really cool. So
Yeah, definitely one to check out.
yeah, and they're
and a
gonna be shooting that like when are they gonna start shooting? It says later this month they're shooting Civil War, right?
Yeah, that was what Evans had said.
Everyone's gonna be in that, like everybody. I saw that who else? Who like? Hold on a second. Let me look see who's going to be in Civil War.
Well, we're gonna have. I mean, that's where we're gonna get our first look at Black Panther.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, which is
Perfect.
I love it.
You
I
know
love
who
it.
I read, who I saw is going to be in it?
Oh,
Charlie Cox, Daredevil.
really? I know he
Yep.
said he wanted to be in it.
Well, maybe I'm
I
because I read that he's. I mean, it would make sense. He is a masked,
right. No,
hero.
it would, but I think it's gonna be too soon for that. I think.
You think it's
I
going to be right around season 2?
Yeah, but I mean, he just put the mask on. Like now he's got to take it off again.
No, he's well. That no, he'll be on the team. He'll be on Captain America's side. He's gonna be like he's gonna be probably, if anything, he's not gonna, I don't think, be a major part of the film. But then again, it would make sense because they're not gonna have to pay him as much money as they would having all these other cameos. The film's gonna be stacked, but it would be a lot less expensive to get someone who's not been in all these films in it, but anyway, you're right. I don't see him on IMDb or anything. I thought I read that he was gonna be it, but maybe it was just a rumor.
I think the thing was like he wanted to be in it.
Right, but they got Crossbones in it, Black Panther, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch. Like it's gonna be insane how many people they're gonna have
And
in it.
Spider-Man.
War Machine and Spider-Man. Yeah, of course he's got to be in it.
God.
So that's gonna be like Avengers.
But again,
Here's in between now and Infinity War.
yeah, but
Infinity
again,
War. Sorry.
but again, here's the thing: we don't know exactly what causes this cinematic version of the Civil War.
Right. No, you're absolutely right.
So it may have nothing to
yeah.
do with masks whatsoever.
You're absolutely right. There's going to be a rift between Captain America and Tony Stark, and I'm okay with them changing it because, what was it? Speedball running and trying to be on a reality TV show
And blowing up a school.
Blowing up a school is not going to work in this
Right.
film. Just like it made sense to make Iron Man, the father of Ultron, which we're going to go see this movie this weekend. You're going to go see it, I assume, this
Monday.
weekend too?
Yeah, I'm going Monday. I got my
Oh,
tickets
okay,
already.
cool. So we can talk about it next week. So yeah,
Absolutely.
So it makes sense that he made Ultron, and who knows, maybe Bruce Banner had a little bit to do with it as well. That makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense what they're doing with Ant-Man. That there was Hank Pym, and he's an older person, and Scott Lang is the younger Ant-Man. So Marvel's they're very smart on how they make these moves. So whatever they have in store for Civil War is great. The only reason I think there might have a little bit to do with the masked heroes is because they are going to put Spider-Man in it, and that might just be because they have that deal or whatnot. But whatever, it's gonna be cool. Like, I'm excited, and I'm like a little fucking kid over here, getting excited about it. But yeah, it's cool. So. All right, I mean, we'll stick with Marvel. Let's see here. They're shooting it back to back, the Infinity War.
Right. Yeah.
And what did I read? Like 9 months?
Yeah, it's going to be a 9-month shoot, and they're doing it. They're going to start it like sometime late next year. They're talking like fall, winter, 2016, and it's going to be a 9-month shoot straight through.
It makes sense. It makes total sense. It's going to be a 2-parter. It's coming out 1 year and then the other year, right?
Right.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Oh man, we got all of this Marvel stuff, and on top of that, they're going to have the Star Wars films. Like, it's going. God,
Disney. I need to go buy stock in Disney. I swear to God.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, my grandparents have stock in it, and holy crap, they're glad they still have it.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, they got it when it was a long time ago too, so they're happy. But yeah, so man, that's gonna be great. Is there I don't see any more Marvel news.
No, that's the end of our this concludes the Marvel segment.
Right, like an hour later. Let's see here. What else we got here? Ninja Turtles 2.
Yeah, we have some actual news here. We have a couple
yeah.
things.
We got Tyler Perry cast as Baxter Stockman.
And I didn't see that coming.
No,
Like,
no.
Of everybody on the planet they could cast in that role, like, I mean, I don't feel one way or another about it. never in a million years would I have said Tyler Perry. Like, it never would have occurred to me.
No, no. The guy who plays Ben Urich
In Daredevil.
in Daredevil, I thought would have been a great Baxter Stockman.
Well, but you got to remember Baxter's a little younger.
Oh, that's true. That's true. He is. No, what am I thinking? But I don't know why. I just thought of when I was seeing him in Daredevil, I thought, man, I would like to see him as Baxter Stock. I don't know why. I don't know why it hit me like that. I think it was just because of the way he wore his glasses or something. But yeah. So Tyler Perry, that's okay. All right.
Yeah. Again, I don't feel one way or another. I was just totally. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I never would have called that.
Yeah, but I mean,
not in a million years. But okay, sure.
Tyler
whatever.
Perry has some sway in Hollywood, so who knows? Let's see here. I see Brian T.
Yeah, they've
picked over Shredder.
They've recast Shredder.
Oh wow.
I like Brian T. We saw him in Furious 7. He had a smaller role. He was also in, and I'm trying to remember it without looking at my notes. The Wolverine. He was in the Wolverine.
Yep. That's the one I remember him from.
And I like Brian T. And I liked Masamune, who was Shredder in the first Turtles. But for whatever reason, they needed to recast him, and okay, so we know Shredder's going to be in Turtles 2.
Right.
Okay, cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really feel about any one way or another about that one either so much.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely not. I remember from Tokyo Drift as well.
Oh yeah, he was in that.
Yeah. But yeah, and they showed the party wagon.
Yes, the party wagon.
Right. That looked cool. That looked super cool.
Hey, man, merchandising opportunities. Go for it.
Totally. And they're gonna. Oh, man, that's another thing. Like I saw the Star Wars Legos, and I love the Wars. That's my thing. That's above everything else geek-wise for me. But then I started seeing they have a Ninja Turtle set. They have, oh my god, they have a Back to the Future car.
Yeah.
It's a slippery fucking slope, my friend.
It is.
Don't ever buy a Lego set. Don't get anywhere near them, because you build it and you'll be like, nope, I want that.
Yep.
Oh, they have the Simpsons Quickie Mart. Okay, why not? Like, it's a very slippery slope.
I'm lucky because I had this sense enough. I found these at Walmart when I was still in Orlando, and I left them in storage because I got so hooked on this. They have, and it's aside from like the prefabricated, like you can build this roller coaster kind of thing, they have giant tubs of Kinects.
Oh wow.
That was me. I love Legos. I like Legos. I'm totally down with Legos. Kinects were my thing.
Yeah,
I would do
totally.
whatever I wanted with them. You could make them fit in a trillion different ways. That was me, and I'm so glad that I left them down there because I couldn't get my head out of that bucket. I just couldn't.
I don't know what's wrong with me when I see those. I saw that online. I was like, they have everything I love from my childhood, and I can build a Lego. I was like, no. And the funny thing, they have like they have the DC and Marvel, but none of them are too exciting because, I mean, there's nothing exciting about maybe the Batmobile. Like, it would be super cool to see like the Lego Tumbler or something, or like the Lego Batmobile from the animated series would be super cool. But I didn't see any of that. I saw like Spider-Man's helicopter or something like just
right. Yeah, when they had when it was like hey, come see Batman Returns, and then go out and buy like the 6 different versions of Batman action figures that you've never seen. It's
exactly. And so that I think with the Lego stuff was like, I have to be into it for one. Like, I have to be into the whatever it is. The other thing is the thing I'm building has to like it has to I don't know. I have to have some feeling for it. When I was online after I did the Snowspeeder's perfect because I like Empire Strikes Back. All the other ones I would have probably been like, I don't know, because they're from like Rebels. They're just like like the B-Wing looked cool, but there's a lot of just like, you can tell that Lego's at the point now where like they've kind of done every iteration of every Star Wars, ship possible.
Yeah.
That they're really, scraping the bottom of the barrel with like just random shit that might have been mentioned once in a book or something. But now with the new stuff coming out, I know for a fact the new Millennium Falcon is going to be, their special edition that's going to be like $200 or whatever next year. And that's one that I will definitely get because I love the Millennium Falcon. If you go online right now, just to show you how crazy this is, I'm not making this up. If you go online and you want to buy the Millennium Falcon Lego set from the special edition one from however many years ago, it's like $5,000. Like, that's how expensive they get because they stopped making them for years. There was one that came out not too long ago that wasn't the special edition one that was like 1,000 pieces less, and I still think that's like $500. But like, yeah, there's the ones that come out every once in a while. So for example, the new one, let's say they make the Boba Fett one out right now. It's like $200. When they stop making that will go up to $3,000 to $4,000 easy.
Oh yeah.
If it's sealed in the box, because it's such a collector's item. People are fucking loco for Legos, and I don't know what I stepped into, and I blame my grandma. Like, she was doing such a nice thing, and I'm like, Mimo, what have you done to me? Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah. So oh god, see, we got back talking about Legos again. So anyway, yeah, so back to movies. Now, see, I don't know anything about this anime. I know it's an anime, so I don't know if you know anything about it. But Death Note,
I do.
Okay.
A buddy of mine from Orlando used to live next door to me when I was in Orlando. He turned me on to it. He kept like hitting me over the head, like, you gotta watch this, you gotta watch this, you gotta watch this. And I'm gonna kind of beat the drum on his behalf because it's a really interesting anime. If you haven't seen Death Note, it's on Netflix. Go check it out. It's totally worth the watch. But they've been talking about doing it. They've done Japanese films, live action, that are based. They've done what, like 2 or 3, I think, whatever. But they're doing an American live action version, and they finally landed a director for it, and it's Adam Wingard, and he did You're Next most recently. He's done, I think, like 1 or 2 other things that people would know that I can't remember off the top of my head, but this was the one that jumped out at me. It was like, oh yeah, I saw that. That was almost really good.
Right, he did VHS. Did I see that?
You would know if you had. VHS was a Chronicle film.
Yes, I've seen that. That's the one where they find videotapes.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, each of these has a different.
They're like what do you call them? Films. They're
anthology films. Is that what you're looking for?
No, they're snuff films. They're like people getting killed.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw that. That was weird. That was strange, but I don't want to stop watching this. Like, I should probably stop watching this because it's weird, but I kept watching it.
Yeah.
And I think, because I remember, okay. So yeah, that's cool. I mean, I don't know anything about Death Note. It looks a little goth, but again, I'm just being judgmental. I guess I'm just looking at it from, judging it by the cover of its book. Maybe that's what kind of kept me away from it.
Oh, that's a book you don't want to judge by its cover. Bad things happen.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, I've always kind of, I just know that he's got like a book or a journal, and he writes a name down on it, and someone dies, right?
In a nutshell, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm just, again, this is a complete outsider just looking at it at first glance. But, I know I was being judgmental, but I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm like anyone else. Everyone kind of judges, like, in some way, shape, or form when they see something. You're going to know if, like, oh, maybe that interesting, maybe it won't. It never kind of jumped out at me, just like I guess it never did you until someone beat it into you. You need to check this out. You're doing yourself a disfavor. So I'm definitely going to do that. Because I bet, like I said, the last few weeks, I did Turn. I did Marco Polo. Like, I've kind of gone through some series, and I'm like, I need something else to get into. So hey, I'll check out Death Note, especially if it's on Netflix.
And I'll give you an example of that. Every single person that I know has been saying, why have you not watched Attack on Titan? Why have you not seen this show? You in particular, you gotta see the show. You gotta watch this show. So last week, I was finally like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and watch his show. I ordered the jacket that the scouts wear because I was like, I freaking love this show.
Oh,
this
wow.
is awesome. Like, I as soon as I got into it, like after the first episode, I was like, well, okay, now I'm interested. And as it went on, it was like, okay, it kind of it stays in one place in a way, and yet it keeps moving forward. Like the narrative style is interesting. The way that it's structured, it doesn't have even in anime that you wouldn't think to have a lot of filler. Some of them still wind up having a ton of filler.
Right.
This
one, the movie, or I'm sorry, go ahead.
But I mean, this was one where even where you could tell this was a scene that was like, hey, this is kind of filler, it still moved forward.
It still pushed it ahead,
yeah.
Exactly, and that's like there's real consequences too in the show. I'm like, there was points where I was like, I got used to a character, and then they're gone.
Yeah,
and then there's characters that I didn't think I'd like, and I was enamored with. I was like, yes, I love what they've done with this person, and when the Titans enter the scene, I'm terrified something's going to happen to a character I enjoy, because they've shown that they don't care if they're super popular or whatever. It's just like Game of Thrones. Anyone could go at any time.
Yeah.
And you feel that loss of control with them. Like they're just like they're just, what do you call it? They're just almost like fodder to the rest of the people. But to them, like, they're just like, they are so much honor in what they do that they know it's almost every time it's a suicide mission, but they go after it. And so I don't know, it's super interesting. It was one of the first times, like I said, it was one of the, because I watched Dragon Ball Z, of course, as a kid, but I never, like you said, I never really kind of got into anything else over the years. But this, it caught me, and I don't know if you saw it dubbed. Did you see it in English or Japanese?
English. Yeah,
English.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, you're lucky. I mean, I know I know people are yelling at me right now, but I felt like I was reading the whole time with the Japanese. Now I'm going to go back and watch it in English, because it was like reading the whole time. But I'm glad you watched it.
Yeah, I'm on the same side of being against everyone who watches animes. Like, I don't mind subtitles, but I would rather hear it. I would rather have it.
I mean, I get
English.
The purists, the people that they read the manga and they see the Japanese version first, and maybe they're so in love with manga and anime and that whole culture that they know a little bit Japanese. But I'm not. I'm such a casual fan when it comes to it that I want to hear it. I want to sit back and enjoy it, and I don't want to have to. There was points where I would rewind it to see the scene in action, because Attack on Titan, there's a lot of action in it during those scenes, and I felt like I was missing a lot of it because I'm like, I got to catch these words at the bottom of the screen. So
yeah, and I feel like this is kind of like the next attempt for anime to pull me back in, because it's tried. I had Dragon Ball Z, and then that was like, this is the gateway, come with us, and then I didn't, and then I had Gundam Wing. And it was like, come back to us. And after that, I didn't. And then I had Afro Samurai, and it was like, you've got to come back, look at this is awesome. Right. And I didn't. And then I had Death Note, and I didn't. And now I've got Attack on Titan, and it's like, okay, now I'm going to try to find some other ones to watch. Like, I'm going to dig up...
It's so hard.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to dig up Cowboy Bebop and watch that. I'm going to find something else, because I'm sure... If I asked, like, I know I have like a dozen people who are going to give me like these ridiculous lists.
People like what is it, Naruto?
Naruto,
yeah. That's when I say I like Dragon Ball Z, that was the one where they were like, well, you got to try this out, and that's still like going. I think they have like movies and stuff.
Yeah, it's winding down though, because it actually does have an end.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you see, it's interesting because that is one that I have kind of been following off and on. Mm-hmm. That's one of the rare instances. It's the only manga I've ever read.
Oh, okay.
And I've read through that, and because it ends, like, this story has a conclusion to it, and the anime is coming up on it. From what I recall, that was a thing where I got lost with the anime because of the filler. That was another instance of like, I kind of fell out of it, and that's the problem with long mangas like this. It happened with Dragon Ball Z, and that was why, that hey, I understand people who want to hate because they're like, hey, it takes 26 episodes for those last 5 minutes on Namek to expire, and hey, I
Right.
hear you. I'm right there with you. That's why I liked Kai when they
Hmm.
came back and they were like, we're gonna cut this down and we're gonna put it together the way it ought to be, and
Oh,
I love it. I
the
absolutely
purists
love it.
hated that. They
I
were like,
know,
no, 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 no. You've cut out the most important. Yeah,
I know.
I don't know how I feel about that because I don't know. As a kid, it didn't matter that it took 25 episodes to kill Namek because oh man, they had me. It was frustrating watching it. It's kind of like playing Bloodborne. It's like you're hurting yourself, and then looking back, you're like, yeah, it could have probably been cut down 5, 6, 7 episodes. But then it's like, no, they cut out Boo Saga entirely. So I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I don't care either way, I guess, because it's it's not like they took away anything because you can always go out and watch Dragon Ball Z in its entirety. It was just a new way to get people into it and go, oh, here we've made some cuts so that it's maybe not so long in the tooth for you.
Right.
And I tried some Naruto. Am I saying that wrong?
Not, some people
But
say Naruto, some say Naruto. It depends on
Naruto.
who
There
you
you go.
ask.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes. I was I forgot what it was. It was like 4 or 5, and I just wasn't into it. Didn't catch me. It didn't get me like Attack on Titan did. The first few episodes of Attack on Titan, I was in. I was like, oh, this story's interesting. It's cool. It's going
Yeah.
places.
Well,
Um,
and I mean the difference is they're telling a quick story
mhm,
with Attack on Titan. It's what like 22 episodes
mhm.
for the season.
Yeah.
You know, Naruto, they're coming up on like 400 and something. It's
Holy
another one
shit.
like kind of like Dragon Ball Z, like One Piece. It's very much like these things go on and on. And the thing is, this is like the second time they're hitting 400 because
Oh wow.
Shippuden is technically like a sequel series to the original. It's they told it's like you have the younger years and then there's a break. It's like 3 years and then you pick up again. So
Oh
it's
wow.
like two series and it's like yeah, the whole thing total is so long. But
Yeah.
the
See, and
games are
that
awesome. I love the games.
yeah. Yeah, see, I mean, One Piece is another one. The I never got into it. It's like a pirate. It looks like, it looks a little bit more comical than the other ones, and not as serious.
Yeah.
But I always see people dressed up at like that, like at the cons, like MegaCon and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I always see because I recognize the One Piece, with the hats and stuff like that, and the Naruto or whatnot. I've seen, a lot of cosplay of that, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited for a lot of this stuff coming over, and I want to see the second season of Attack on Titan so bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My buddy read the mangas, and he's like, it gets crazy. Like, if you think the first season is
it
nuts,
gets crazy.
it gets nuts. It gets crazy. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. What other news got? Oh, we got Equalizer 2 currently in
Yes,
development.
and it's funny. That was a movie that I only just got around to watching like a couple weeks ago. Finally,
Oh wow.
oh, I loved it. Like that was a lot of people. It cracked me up because a lot of people said this is why Denzel Washington should play Batman.
Yeah. Well, no, it makes sense.
And it's funny because it makes it's not a completely invalid point to draw
No.
from that. Like
No,
it
it doesn't.
works.
Yeah, no. I mean, Denzel Washington, the character that he plays in that film, is a badass. Like wow, what would you call it? He's almost surgical in what he does,
Yeah.
the way he moves, fighting. It's, I don't know. Yeah, it's just like Batman. So I totally get that. But yeah, dude, that is such a good movie. And I'm excited. The Denzel, I like a majority of what he does. Sometimes there's some misses, but that type of character he's playing, I like. I dig that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally, totally. Well, that's cool. We got to get this going because we want to be up all night. We got Furious 8 release date. I understand.
April
Um,
April 14th, 2017.
oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
let's see here. Oh, dude, the seven
Seven
is
has made so much freaking money. Oh my
Jesus. Oh my
god.
God. You know, and one of my friends is so funny. He was like, "That movie's terrible." He hated it. And I'm like, "What did you wait, what? Like you okay, what did you hate about it?" He was like, "Oh, it was over the top and like there's so much action in it." And I'm like,
That's the
"Oh,
point.
that's the fucking point. Like, did you go to Jurassic Park and go, why are there dinosaurs in this? I don't want to see this. I thought there'd be a ship sinking and Leonardo DiCaprio." He was like, "No, man, that's not what I mean." I'm like, "Well, what do you mean? What did you? It's got The Rock saying, 'Daddy's got to go to work,' and his daughter's in the room, so there's a double entendre. Like, it is over the top to be over the top. They wink at the camera the whole film. Like, it's like going. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, it's like going to Lego and being upset that there's Lego characters in there, and it's to me that's so frustrating. Where someone has some expectation of a film that is so out there, and I'm like, what? Why didn't? Why would you not? What did you think it was gonna be? Like it's, it's. I don't know. It was bizarre. And I don't know. So yeah. So I'm like, because he was like, why are they making another one? Why would they do that? And I'm like, because that's how businesses work. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's
because
how
this film has made like $1.3 billion
right.
worldwide. That's why.
Why would Universal not capitalize on that, And God rest his soul, Paul. They're not going to end the franchise because of that. It's going to continue. They're going to do it in his honor. They're going to. Why could you not continue that? And I think he would want them to continue that instead of just stop. And people be. I don't think they would be out of work necessarily, but he wouldn't want that dynamic and that family to just stop. And I don't think it actually would if the films did, but why not have that as an excuse to just get everyone together again? You know what I mean? Because the way those characters interact with each other and the way they feel around each other, you can see that they're comfortable, totally comfortable with everybody.
Oh yeah.
It's now almost to the point where like you see the Marvel kind of characters and how comfortable they are around each other. Like outside of the films, you can see that they actually really get along. So it's why not? I love those films. If you are upset that you went and saw it because they're a little over the top, I don't know what to say to you. Star Wars, there's going to be space as well. I hope that doesn't disappoint you when you see that film as well. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know what to say. I was so just like lost in like what were you expecting? Like I don't know. But yeah, so like yeah, let's get this going because we got some more news here. I think we're done with the movie news, right?
Yeah, I did want to take just a quick second.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we don't usually do this, but there's like one or two every week. But this one was big, at least to me. Andrew Lesnie is a name that a lot of people who aren't really into film probably don't know. He was a cinematographer for a good number of films, and he moved up to director of photography for the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies. So every angle, every shot, pick a scene and say, wow, look at the way they frame this. That was him. That was his eye. That was his way of looking at and interpreting how these sets needed to be angled. Every way to look at these. And I mean, he gave us some just amazing pieces of cinematography. And he passed away just a few days ago. He was 59.
Oh,
and
so young. Jeez.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, really. But
Yeah.
and it's, his work was just beautiful. He helped give those movies some of the grandeur that they had, particularly in Return of the King. And I know he won Academy Awards. I don't know if for all of them, but I know he won one for Return of the King. But
Yeah.
just tremendous work. Say what you want about the films, and my God, we could do 6 podcasts just on one film alone.
Oh yeah, but that's one thing that I never thought. That's one thing that's always was consistently good about those Hobbit and Lord of the Rings films was that like some things that stand out to me. Like when the ring falls on his finger.
Yeah.
Like that had to be him. Like I'm looking through some pictures here of some of the shots that he came up with, and that's iconic. Like
Yeah.
everyone knows that where the ring, dances on the tip of his finger and then it goes in. That's iconic. The scene where in the Fellowship of the Ring where Frodo's reading by a tree and like where it shows the actual, the Fellowship of the Ring comes on the screen. Like that is like those scenes will always kind of stick with you.
Yeah.
And anytime I see that, that always makes reading look so fucking cool when I see a Hobbit read for some reason. I'm like, oh man, I want to be lost in a book right now because they
Yeah.
make it look so comfortable sitting underneath the tree and like I don't know, it just looks cool. But yeah, dude, that sucks. Definitely lost a good one there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all right, so let's see here. So we got the movies. Let's go into games. One I'm excited about, and I guess this is they released the release date
Yes.
is Mighty Number 9.
Yes.
Or in other words, Mega Man.
Yeah, the not official Mega Man game brought to you by the guy who makes Mega Man games.
Right, right. Oh yeah.
The
No,
one, this
I've
was
been.
this was the Kickstarter sensation. This is when people went, "Oh my God, this is a viable platform."
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
we'd had Kickstarter around long before that, but this was the one where people went, "Wow, if a crowd is actually into something and wants to support something, they will do it to the tune of however many millions of dollars extra he got for this." Like it shattered records. It was funded in record time, and then it just kept going.
Have you seen gameplay from it?
I have. It
Yeah.
looks exactly like you would expect it to look, which to me is awesome.
Yeah, it looks super dope. I'm totally in. I've been in kind of a retro phase, man. I've been playing, Shovel Knight and stuff, and on the PlayStation 4 and on my Vita, and I love the cross save feature. That's what's so cool about it is I can play it on the TV, save under cross save, and then pick it up on my Vita and just lay in my bed because I have my PlayStation 4 out in the living room, and I go on my bedroom, and I can sit there and play it. And fucking hell, those old school games really makes me want to play something like Shovel Knight and stuff. Like Axiom Verge is another one that's like super. Oh, it's in the same vein of those old school games. You can tell the same love was put into it, and that's what I see when I see this. Mighty Number 9. Like it looks like an updated version of Mega Man and what people want that love those games. Um, I was never that big of a Mega Man fan back in the day. I don't know why. Probably because they were super hard. And as a kid, if I couldn't get past the first level,
Yeah.
nope, no chance in hell. And I didn't understand the concept of, you know, with Mega Man, you're given all of these characters to fight against at once, and you get to choose. You can fight Mr. Whatever, Mr. Proto, Mr. Whatever it was. You could go against Chili Willy or whatever they were, and you had to go in a specific order because certain weapons that you get in specific levels help you in other levels, and I didn't understand that concept. So I was like, what am I? Okay, I'll pick the guy with the boomerang on his head, and I got killed every time. So
Yep.
I was never that big of a fan
Oh,
of
man.
Mega Man. But later on in life, that's when I appreciated. That's when I was like, okay, I see what they were doing, and I was just too in love with the other kind of games to get that, like Super Mario World and stuff, like everyone
Yeah.
else. So yeah, now going and playing those games it's interesting.
Well,
Um,
and that's you need to just hang on to that phase for about another 5 months.
right, yeah, no,
the
September. It's a good time to put it out.
yeah, September 15th for us here in the U.S. and September 18th for Europe.
Yeah, that's right before like all the big primetime games are coming out,
Yeah.
so it's not going to have to be in the same pool as them. And yeah, so let's see what else here we got here. Okay, see this Five Nights at Freddy thing, the final chapter. My nephew, I think it was around Christmas time, came up to me, my stepbrother's kid, and he was like, he had his iPad, and he was like, hey, he knows I like games. He's like, hey Adam, come here, look at this. He's like, I got this game. It's gonna scare you. And I'm like, oh, what is it? And he's like, Five Nights at Freddy's or something like that. So I started playing it, and I kind of saw it before. It wasn't scary to me at all. I mean, it's a jump scare thing, I guess. And so I pretended to be really, really scared, and I was like, oh man, that is wow. How can you play this? This is really, he was having fun laughing at it. He thought it was hilarious that I was so scared when the thing jumped out at me, and I was playing with him in his little world. So, but have you ever played this game before?
No.
Oh,
Short answer. No,
I
I
don't
have.
understand why people think it's scary. That's
I,
what I mean. I guess for little kids it makes sense. It's like something jumps out at you, but like even the jump scare wasn't that. I don't know. I don't understand the concept of the game. I know you're basically sitting behind a console and you work at Chuck E. Cheese night shift for some reason, and there's a door on the left, a door on the right. You don't move in the whole game that I think of, and you pop up different screens and you can look at different cameras. And so at first, nothing moves. You're just looking at different screens, and you can open and close specific doors. And then later on in the night, when the time goes by, you look at different cameras, and then suddenly the animatronic things that are at Chuck E. Cheese move. And I don't understand the point of the game. I just keep the doors closed, and nothing attacks me. But at some point, like you lose power, and you can't open one door, something like that, and they jump out at you. They jump out at the camera, and then like the camera goes fuzzy, you know. I don't know. It wasn't for me. I mean, kids love the game. That's awesome. So you're gonna get a fourth one. I don't know why it's the final chapter.
Because the fourth Friday the 13th was also the final chapter. So.
That's true. That's true. I mean, they're gonna have a Six Nights at Freddy's The Return, I'm sure, because I think that game makes a lot of money. But I mean, it's for kids though. I mean, like he got so excited playing that game, so I totally get it. Hey, I kind of wish stuff like that was out when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I would have been in love with it too.
That comes out Halloween this year.
That's cool. That's cool. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Staying on games that are coming out at some point, we had some really cool news early this week. Telltale and Marvel working on a title for 2017.
Oh, that we've talked about this. I've told you I would love a Spider-Man game.
And I think that's a terrible idea.
I know. I don't know why. I mean, to me, Spider-Man, it's all about decision making with Peter Parker, more so than a lot of other characters.
No, it's not.
Wolverine...
It's about web swinging through New York.
No. See, that's where I think it gets twisted.
No, if you're gonna give me a Spider-Man video game, which one do you want? Do you want to be able to be struggling with moral dilemmas of Venom's last attack on someone while you're sitting in math class, or do you want to go swinging down Fifth Avenue? Come on.
Well, here's the thing. As long as I know what I'm getting myself into, this is a Telltale game. So right off the bat, it's not going to be Spider-Man flying through the city,
right?
And I'm okay with that. I totally agree with you. The Spider-Man games that came out that were like very contained, you're not flying through the city, they weren't that good. But they also released those games as action games that you are supposed to be high flying and stuff like that. Like the Dimensions and stuff like that. Those were very much action oriented games. Where Telltale, it's all very story driven games. And if anything, that's what comic books are. And so when I saw this, I thought, the best thing about reading Peter Parker is not when he's fighting the whoever above whatever city. I love the quiet moments, the ones where he fights with himself with what to do, or the decision making. Now it gets a little too much sometimes, but to me, his character, that's what makes him vastly different from a lot of other characters. Where Wolverine, for example, he doesn't care who knows he's Wolverine. He doesn't care what he says to people. There's really no, there's no. Think about what he does. He literally just stabs people and doesn't worry about the outcome. Look at what happened with the Age of Ultron. But when it comes to Spider-Man, it's always a moral decision, and it's always something eating up at him, and it's very character driven. So I thought that's perfect, And same with Khan. I think Miss Marvel would be another perfect one because she's very much in the same tone as Spider-Man, where she's a kid and she's just starting out, and you kind of hear her inner voice, and it's very much like Spider-Man. So I thought those two would be very cool. I was playing a game called Life is Strange on PlayStation. I don't know if you've heard about it or checked it out. I think I talked about it before, where you play this like teenager in high school, and and she has all of these kind of decisions she has to do, and it's not Tall Tale that makes it. Here, I'll tell you who makes it real fast. But it's very much in the same vein. The difference is Tall Tale gives you however many seconds to answer something. And so, like, you have very short time to make a very big decision, where Life is Strange, it's made by Square Enix. You're given the ability to rewind time and change your decision, and the whole game changes with it. So it's a kind of different dynamic, but it's still set in the, like, what happens here is going to affect things in the third episode that you would have not even thought of. And so, like, I kind of like that. I dig that. Those are $15 games, or 20 or whatever, and it's the full, 5 episodes. You get them over time, which is the perfect way to tell a comic book story if you think about it. And so I thought that would be cool. I want a big AAA Spider-Man game where he's flying around the city. I want that. I want someone to make that game. But Tall Tale's not going to make that game. They're going to make story-driven games. So that's why I was kind of like, okay, I could see that. Who knows? They could take a weird, bizarre character like Iron Fist, or something.
That's what I've been doing ever since I heard this news. I've been racking my brain trying to figure out who would fit really well here. And everybody I came up with, I kept thinking of a different style of game I would want to see.
Right. I mean, let's not put some money on it, but if I was a betting man, it's gonna be Spider-Man. I'm telling you, that's perfect for it. At least in my opinion, I don't. I mean, it's gonna be someone kind of like, it's not. I don't think it's gonna be someone cosmic. It's got to be a ground, street level character, and he is the most popular Marvel character, and for kids especially, they're gonna eat that stuff up. So a teenager in high school, they already made Life is Strange, and it's kind of a big hit right now. So I don't know if it. I don't know. That's to me what I would like. Who would you? You said you were struggling with. Who would you?
I don't know, because every time I keep thinking of something, I'm like, Daredevil. No, I would want to see an action game.
Well, see, what you gotta get out of that mindset. It's going to be an action game, though.
No, I'm not thinking about they're making an action game. I'm thinking,
okay.
I'm trying to find a character to fit the Telltale style. And
well, would be cool.
But
go ahead. Sorry.
He would, but I keep thinking like, oh, they could do this character, but actually a different kind of game would work better for that character.
Yeah,
like Daredevil as an action game would work a little better. The Punisher would have to be like a Hitman style game.
Right. I think I think you're onto something with Daredevil. Daredevil and She-Hulk would be kind of a cool, and it would be more about them in the courtroom, like Ace Attorney type thing.
Right.
Like it would be very story driven, very like, I don't want to screw this up for my client. You can hear the heartbeats of the people in the jury. You have to make a quick decision on what to say.
Right.
I think you're onto something with Daredevil. That would be great.
I could see that. Focus more on the investigative and the courtroom side. Absolutely.
Right.
And I don't know who it would be, because I keep rattling around everything in my head. I'm afraid.
I think Camilla Khan would be good too.
That's another good choice. I'm worried they're gonna try to make an Avengers game, and I don't want that.
No. I don't. I really don't think it would. Avengers is too big and pop and flashy. Where the fuck is? I'm sorry, I shouldn't cuss like that. Where the hell is our big AAA Avengers game? And why no one has made that?
Well,
is
they tried. Remember?
Me.
There was remember what, a couple of years ago there was footage. They had one in development.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that, but it never came out. So it's like the video game, they've really dropped the ball in the last few years. We're getting a new Star Wars game, so that's coming. But the two biggest thing in the movie theaters right now, or that's gonna be, is Avengers and Star Wars. There should be, I was the other day we were talking about when we got so excited about the Star Wars stuff, and like anyone else that's super into it, I sat around and thought, what can I do? Because I got that itch. I want to do something like that. What game could I play? And there was nothing. I had the thing on the iPad, the KOTOR or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. Like, there's nothing out recently that I could scratch that itch with. And that's kind of the same thing with Marvel. It's like once the films are done, a lot of people don't go and read the comics. They don't have video games to play, and you would think the crossover there would be huge. There's nothing there out. There's nothing there. There's iPad games. There's tons of iPad games, and that's it. They have. There's the Marvel Heroes game, the MMO, but I mean it's such a niche thing. It's a niche thing inside of a niche thing that it's I don't know. It's they're really dropping the ball. But I mean I don't know. It'd be cool. I don't know. This would never work. But a Silver Surfer one, like the way they do it in the comic now, where it's comical in a way. That would be kind of a cool story. He's basically Doctor Who on a surfboard, and I don't know if you've read the last run, but it's funny. He runs into Stephen Strange and the Hulk, and like they have a whole little Defenders meet up on accident. And he's like, "Wait, I didn't mean for this to happen," And so I don't know. It's quirky. You can tell Dan Slott is totally doing. He was just like, I want to do a Doctor Who comic, but I can't. Okay, I'll just make him the Silver Surfer. He's got a companion and everything.
Nice.
He goes his companion. I'll just call her that. Is like, hey, come for dinner. So he does, and then all hell breaks loose in her town. And he's like, we can't even have dinner. Like it's just straight up out of a Doctor Who episode. But yeah, man, it's I don't know. I'm excited. I don't think like Tall Tale has some like. That's the only company Marvel can make games with. But this is one of the first out since, Marvel was taken away from Activision, where they've been very careful on who they're going to pick to make their games.
Right.
So I think this is just going to be like anything else. It's Tall Tale's going to tell a story-driven game, but there's got to be other stuff that's coming out that we haven't heard of.
I don't know.
Yeah, for them to not do shit with the Avengers is like how. There's probably so many companies that would just love to go. Can we have those characters for one game so we can just make our fun little game? Like, because all we have now is Legos, and that's one game that took me by surprise was the Marvel Legos. If you ever see that for like $5, get it because it's really fun. It's fun to be Spider-Man in that game flying around in a Lego world, but it's cool. I don't know. It's you can play with like two people. So me and my brother would sit on the couch and do a little fun Lego Marvel game. But I get you. That's not the game we want. That's not the big AAA title. But yeah, it's yeah, man. It would be nice to have a cool Spider-Man game.
Let it be a Doctor Strange game.
All right, or Doctor Familiar.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a bad joke.
That's a really bad joke.
Yeah, Doctor Strange would be cool too. That's one character. Him and like Iron Fist, the movies that are coming out, I just don't know that much about. Black Panther, I know a little bit more about, but
if you're looking for a good Doctor Strange arc, they did sort of a revamped origin in Marvel Knights. It was like a 5 or 6 issue run, and it's just called Strange, and it's sort of a retelling of his origin, and it's a great. I actually just reread it like a week ago, and it's a great. They change a few details here and there. It's not the same classic origin that everyone's kind of familiar with, but it gives you a variation on a theme, and it's still very true to the character and the nature of his mindset and everything. And it's a good story. It's a really good story, and it's like I said, it's like 5 or 6 issues, and it was under the Marvel Knights imprint.
Oh, okay.
So it's really good. If you're looking for an intro to Doctor Strange, go there. I would recommend that absolutely.
I remember him briefly in the 1602 comics, which is really cool. I believe he was in that, right? Yeah, he was. Yeah. Which would be cool. We're going to be getting some of that back, I hear. So.
I'm all for it. Gaiman's 1602 run was awesome. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
So weird.
Well, we got what other games we got?
We got one last piece of news.
Well, hold on. Well, let's wait before that. We have one thing I did kind of want to talk about. Now, I don't think you're kind of in this community, but where Valve.
That.
Yeah. Valve came out and they were like, hey, we're gonna create a platform where modders, sorry, I'm screwing that up, um, can, we're going to come up with this platform where you can generate money by selling your mods on our community. And the first one was a Steam mod. I'm sorry, not Steam, but Skyrim. And it was a popular mod. I believe it had to do with like fishing in the game. And they pulled it. Now it started making a lot of money, and I guess someone got mad and went to them and was like, in that mod, they have parts of my mod in it, and they're making money off of some idea they stole from me and some way the mechanics work from me. I feel I should be getting some of that money. So that's when they ruined it for everybody. And Valve was like, nope, okay, no more money for you guys, and it's kind of created a lot of problems with that community. So, and it was only up for like a week, which sucks. But have you done anything with mods, like in any
No.
games?
No, I mean I'm familiar with the idea and with some of the craziness that you get from them, but I've never been a PC gamer.
Oh,
So like
okay.
it's never been a thing to me. I see it and I'm like, well, that's cool. Somebody or some group had a lot of free time
Yes.
to rewrite that code and work in those tools. And hey, I more power to you. Go for it. Make something interesting. But
Right.
yeah, it just seems like this is somebody had to come along and ruin it in just the right way that it screwed it up for everybody.
Right, exactly. And I thought it was a cool idea. It was like these people, like you said, they put a lot of time, money, and just, blood, sweat, and tears into that. And it was cool to see them make some profit off of it and some money off of it. But yeah, I think I'm reading here, they had 130,000 signatures where they wanted it to be pulled from it because they didn't believe that. For some reason, they didn't like it. I guess, let's see here. Many think the profit sharing model is unfair to modders. In the case Skyrim, 75% of the profit was split between Valve and Bethesda, and only 25% went to the creator. So I guess some people didn't like the way that worked either.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
put on your big boy business pants and deal with it.
yeah, exactly. That's welcome to the world of
The fact
that platform. Because sorry, you do that with anything with iOS, and they take half of it. That's why when Amazon bought Audible, you can't get you have to go through Audible to get those things now, from what I understand. Same way with Comixology, you can't get Comixology. You have to go through their store in order to purchase it. You can't do it from the iPad app anymore. So yeah, so like all of those platforms, you're gonna have to make deals with them to get money. And so yeah, the one thing I was gonna say about modding is that the only experience I kind of had with it was when I played Jedi Knight Academy and Jedi Knight Outcast. And that was back in the day where I don't want to get too much into the game, but there was a multiplayer where they had different servers. You could host your own server, and you could have like 25 people in it, and it had the maps from the game. Bespin and a bunch of other maps. Everyone went on Bespin because that was the coolest one. But then you had a modding community was like, you know what? I'm going to build this from the books, this from the movies. And they would build these entire like worlds almost, it seemed like. And it had everything. It had all these secret rooms. Like they straight up built some of the maps from Shadows of the Empire, and out of nothing.
nice.
Yeah, and it was just so cool. And they had someone built like the Dragon Ball Z level. They built the Pokemon starting zone or whatnot, where Ash, gets out of his bed and stuff. It was always so much fun. Like there was a whole Matrix level one. It was always fun to just go to the website, it was jk2mods.com. You would go to the website, you would see like, oh, what am I into? You would download it, and it would, they would install into your game, and you can play in those maps, or you can get different skins. And they would like go into crazy amount of detail with the skin packs. And it was like, oh my god, that Yoda looks so much better than anything the people who were making the game did. Or you could just have such out there characters. You could be running around as Homer Simpson with a lightsaber and stuff like that. So that was super fun to me. So when I see modders getting like crazy in Skyrim, I never got into it, but when I see that, it kind of was like, oh, okay, I totally get that, because when I was a kid, I loved that stuff. I ate it up. But yeah, it's I don't know the full story about it. I guess a lot of people had beef with the way they were doing their platform, but now you're not going to make any money off of it. So
Well, and let's look at this a little realistically here. They're saying, you get 25% of your profit. For considering how much of the work on that did you actually do?
right. Well,
Like,
yeah,
you're
exactly. And
taking.
the other thing is a lot of people were upset because they were like, mods should be free. You shouldn't have to pay for them. And I don't think I believe in that. I think, I think we live in an age where everyone kind of feels entitled to
uh,
be like, well, that should be free. It was free before. It should be free now. And I don't know. I think if you should support things that you enjoy. So if this guy makes a fishing mod and he put a lot of work into it, why not? If it's $1, why not? Why not support him? I don't know. And you're gonna thin the herd of the people who are just making garbage compared to the ones who are actually doing some really good stuff. I don't know. I don't know what to think about mods actually.
well, and I mean, you can make the other side of that argument too, where you can say, well, this is, you can make it from the business and the legal side of it, of, well, this is based off of someone else's work. You're making something out of their work, which is why you shouldn't be making money off of it. Or you can come at it from the way of saying, look, this is, think of this as a showcase. Maybe you don't make money off of it, but you get to say, "Hey, look what I can do." Look
Exactly.
At the
No, they totally got the
Yeah.
okay, from Bethesda. Bethesda, okay, you can sell mods for that game. They had to get the okay from them.
Right.
They couldn't just do this on every game. So it's, but yeah, it kind of ran into that. He had part of his mod was taken from another person's mod, so that person felt entitled. And so yeah, that's where you go down the road of like, well, who's actually really is it really? Because you got it from somewhere. But yeah, but yeah, so we'll get into the last thing here.
The complete implosion, the what in the blue ever loving hell went on here kind of
What
part of
happened?
the week.
Did someone have the plans? Did Boffins die to destroy Konami? What the fuck happened? Like, this had to have, like, what? The last few months, we have seen them just melt away, just fall away.
But this week they decided, like, they had to sit around and just say, well, we're going out of business this week. That's the choice we've made. Why
Right?
the
They
hell?
fire one guy, and their whole company crumbles.
I don't understand. Like, Kojima left. Okay, sad face, but he's got Kojima Productions. They're gonna go do something else. You kind of figured this was just a business thing. Okay, we
Right.
parted
You still
ways.
own the
Whatever.
character,
Yeah.
you still own Metal Gear, so it's not like the franchise is leaving.
Or any of the other franchises for that matter.
No.
But no, what did we have this week? We started with PT is going to be pulled from the PlayStation Store. Well, that's a bad sign. Why?
Oh yeah, and
well,
that was
because-
one of the coolest things,
Yes.
coolest experiences I've had in the video game world in the last I don't know how many years. Like, that was such a breath of fresh air. I've never been into horror games, but when I played that, I was like, fuck, that is freaky. I want to turn a light on. And that
Yeah.
never happens. I'm a grown man. As much as we talk about this shit, I'm like, no, that's not going to freak me out. It freaked me out. And so I was like, no, what the hell? And then, I was so excited for that. I was more excited for that than I was Metal Gear. And it's more disappointing to me.
Yes. And
That's the real loss here, is
Yeah.
Silent Hills,
is canceled.
Oh,
Officially
God.
confirmed dead. And that just I don't, you're not just killing the goose that laid the golden egg. You're killing it, you're plucking it, you're rotisserie style barbecuing it, and then you're throwing it in the trash.
I feel like they
Like,
fell on their swords over there.
For no reason.
Like, it's
Why?
why would you burn the whole building down because one guy left? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense to me. I'm sure I don't know. I'm sure people with more knowledge of the situation can make better sense of it, but like you said,
And then
oh yeah, what happened?
And then
Oh, yeah.
they decided, oh, and by the way, we're also going to delist from the New York Stock Exchange. What? Why?
That's what I'm
Why?
saying. It's suicide. Like, they're literally killing themselves.
I don't.
For
I, I can't wrap my head around this. I don't understand why, and I mean, just tell us why. Because they haven't. They're like, no, we canceled this, and then we did this. And it's like, okay, are things that bad? Are you guys just hemorrhaging money that terribly? You can't hang on by the skin of your teeth? You can't wait until the next whatever you might do with Castlevania? Or you can't find somebody to help you pony up the money for this Silent Hill sequel reboot thing that
Right.
everybody with any console who has any sort of any feeling at all about horror games or the dude from The Walking Dead or Guillermo del Toro is
Right.
going to look into this and say, wow, this looks interesting, or this looks creepy, or this
It had
looks scary
everything
as
going
hell.
for it.
And all of a sudden, poof, it's gone.
Could
Like,
you imagine
just,
if Naughty Dog, when Amy Hennig left, and she's going to do her Star Wars thing now. She was the one in charge of the whole, Uncharted stuff. Imagine if they were just like, guys, sorry, we're not doing Uncharted 4.
yep,
Last of Us, never gonna happen again. We're never gonna do anything like that, and we're gonna close up shop now. I would literally, that would be the worst because they're one of my favorite developers right now, and so
yeah.
like I could not. They picked up the pieces. They put two other great talents, the ones who worked on Last of Us, and they put them on Uncharted 4, and they moved the fuck on.
Because
And
that's what you do in business.
yeah, it doesn't make any
That's
sense.
how this
Imagine working
works.
for a company and they were like, "Oh, your boss was fired." Okay, because he was fired, we're gonna let 20 other people go. Oh, okay, we're just gonna close down this shop now because Tim, the old manager, was bad for business. It's like, what the hell? Oh man, I'd be scared if I was working for that company. Like, are you kidding me?
And I mean,
Like,
just in the space of a week, they've just, I mean, grab a lifeboat,
and
man.
what's gonna be more interesting, I think, about this whole thing is I want to know what happens behind the scenes. I want to know that story. I want someone to tell that story, maybe in a year from now, like what actually happened here behind the scenes to make this implosion where on our end it sounds ludicrous, but there has to be some stuff behind the scenes. I mean, I'm with you. It makes no sense, but I want to know why it makes no sense. I want to know the ins and outs of what's going on
It,
in that company to
yeah,
just go, you know what? We just give up.
yeah, we're
It,
done.
imagine if any football team did that, if their quarterback, needed to go out for a few quarters or something. It, like you have to, there's more people, in this ship. There's more people that make Metal Gear games than him. I'm sorry, I'm not too much into the Metal Gear games, so I guess I'm probably not best person to speak about it. The games were very long. They kind of weren't really my thing. I loved Metal Gear Solid, but they weren't just him. He's not sitting in a room making this game for 4 years by himself.
No, my God, they
It
passed off.
takes a village.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they passed off production of Revengeance to Platinum Games. They
Right,
had a
right.
completely different studio make it, and it turned out awesome.
Yeah,
But I mean,
exactly.
that's to your point of like, this is not just a this.
Yeah,
I
it's a whole team. There's so many other people, and sure they slap his name on it. It's his production, his movie. But you know what? At the end of the day, there is a lot of other people that live and die by those games, and they're not. I don't think they get enough credit because he is one of those creators that loves slapping his name on it, loves the attention, and loves the fame of it all. But at the end of the day, it's like, holy crap, that whole company just imploded out of nowhere, and they shouldn't have, over that thing. Like I said, I'll say this forever. Silent Hills is the real tragedy of this. That's the real loss because
yeah.
that's one thing that was super exciting. I've been telling all my friends the last week or so, if you own a PlayStation 4, go get that because who knows what's going to happen. I hope they don't just pull it from everyone's systems. I don't think they can do that. I think
No.
if you download it, you have it.
Yeah.
But that's such a cool experience that I've sat a few people down and had them play that, and they've actually gone out and buy a PlayStation 4 because that's never happened to them in a video game. They never thought, "Holy crap, that got me!" It's one of those demos. I don't know. It's so terrible. It had everything going for it, and because one guy leaves, they're like, "Nope, you know what? Scrap everything." It's like you guys really couldn't get an idea of what he was gonna do to do it yourself. Imagine if they just left Star Wars on the table when George Lucas was like, "I'm done." God, we wouldn't have Episode 7 coming out, or Rogue One or any of that stuff. It's like, come on, you got to keep going.
I can't. I can't. Like,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for someone to walk into Konami and just, up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start, and we're gonna start this all over again.
Right.
We're going to be back to. We're gonna say, okay, now we can, whatever happened, we've moved past this now. It's like we can do this. Like,
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Like, I want to know what, and did the company implode because they're not working with Kojima Productions anymore, or did Kojima see the writing on the wall and get out? Did he grab a life? Did his company grab a lifeboat and bail
fired
before? Oh, was he fired?
He was fired. Yeah, it was
Okay.
official. They fired him.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's why they took his name off of everything. They took his name off the studio. He's not associated with them at all anymore. There was a tweet not too long ago by one of his coworkers that were like, they fired him. They let him go. They gave him a box. He was done.
Wow.
So yeah, I would love to know that story.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see, like this last like 2 months with Konami, just to see what's gone on. That would be an interesting book to read.
It would be. It'd be totally into it, and that's kind of how I am too. Like, I love knowing the behind the scenes stuff. Like,
Yeah.
And so it's a bummer. It's a total bummer. I mean, if they could somehow get see Del Toro, Norman Reedus, it had so many different wheels in it that were turning that I liked. That it seemed like one got screwed up, the rest of them ran away. Oh man, I mean, I'm sure they'll hopefully do Silent Hills in some way, shape, or form in the future.
Assuming Konami doesn't completely fold.
Right? Yeah, exactly. See, that's
week's not over yet.
It's yeah, exactly. It's
I mean, my God.
it's like last week we were given all this. Here's the new Joker. Here's Konami. Nope. No.
Nope.
1 week you're a company, the next you're falling apart because you let one person go. That is a big sign. That is a huge sign. A company should be stronger than that. It should be stronger than one man or one individual. You can't just make or break a company on one person. Every company would go under if that was the case. It's God, it's just, it sucks. I don't know, and yeah, the behind the scenes is gonna be, it'd be super interesting when that story does come out. Hopefully it does, because I want to know, like, why was he let go and fired? Like, what did he do? What did he say? Because I hear he's kind of out there. Like, he's really out there.
Yeah, but he does, like the press that he does. He really comes across as somebody who's, you kind of expect the sort of...
He's totally full of himself. Like,
really? Because I don't get that.
Oh, man.
I don't get that from him
I've seen
at
him
all.
in, he's like a rock star.
Right, but I mean, he comes across with that, not to be stereotypical, but there is sort of that kind of almost expected Japanese humility. That's the way I see it. Like, he's just
really?
grateful that everything has taken off like it has.
Oh, maybe I got just a completely different feeling from you then. Yeah, no. I don't know. Anytime I've seen it, he's a rock star. It was almost like he wants to do film instead of video games. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe he wants to do films now.
Well, now he can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow, okay.
Yeah, he could totally do films now. He doesn't have to pretend that his games are them, But it's going to be interesting. He's going to be picked up by somebody, of course, if he doesn't go and do a film.
Well, but
yeah,
I mean,
I guess I'm totally thinking of something else.
Because when he, when he was fired, like, he wasn't fired from his company, right? He was fired from Konami, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, um, I don't know. He's gonna be picked up by some studio. Some studio is going to scoop him up. Just like Amy when she left, Naughty Dog. Boom, Star Wars game, EA. They immediately got her. So it's gonna be interesting to see where he goes.
Well, but I mean, no, I mean that's what I'm saying though. Like he has his own, Kojima Productions isn't just him. It's his whole. He's got a whole team.
Right. Yeah. I don't see. I don't know that
Yeah.
much about it.
Yeah,
So,
like it's a whole. Yeah, like it was a partnership with Konami.
oh, so okay. So his whole production company was
Uh,
is now, I guess, split off.
apparently, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see all that now here. Yeah, they have the fox and everything
Yeah.
as their
So I
symbol. It
mean,
makes
I
total
just.
sense.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting. That's for sure. But I mean,
Right.
it's just nuts how. When it was like, okay, Kojima and Konami are not working together. What's that world gonna be like? It was just it was something really, really different. And then we find out, well, it's going to be a world where Konami doesn't exist anymore, apparently. Because I mean, I can't wrap my head around this. I want to know why all of this is happening, and
Oh yeah.
I mean, I keep coming back to money because I can only think like they were because Silent Hills was a ridiculously ambitious project, but it's the kind of ridiculously ambitious that you would think you could get investors behind. If you were a company that was like, hey, look, we need some people or whatever, however it works, to come in on this with us, but look at what we've got. Look at what we're doing, and then look at the hype. Look at how people have reacted just to this little bit of information. Look at all the interest that this has generated. You're going to get your money back on this. Trust us. And anybody worth their salt in the video game industry would have looked at this and said, yes, this is a golden opportunity. This is
Oh yeah.
absolutely what this needed. This is the perfect time to come on board. But I mean, by the end of the week, I would not be surprised if Konami closed its doors. Like
Yeah.
that's just the way this is heading, and that terrifies me because I really love that company.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And just
It's
I hope this is just like, hey, we're going to have to restructure, and then we'll come back with something. Like I don't want them to go anywhere.
yeah. It's just it's a shame. The whole thing is just sucks. But we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens. It's gonna be interesting going out, and we've kind of beat a dead horse here. We want to know behind the scenes, and I hope we get that. I hope someone, you know, someone gets that. I saw something that was funny. It said it
Oh,
was a conspiracy. It says there is no Kojima. There never was. PT isn't getting pulled from the PlayStation Store. It was never there to begin with. That was great. That was great. I thought that was cool. And oh man, but
oh
yeah,
man.
no, we really need like, and this sounds so sad. We need a TMZ style video game site. Maybe we should just start this because
No.
it doesn't exist yet. We have TMZ about celebrities. I want TMZ about video games and behind that business because it's the same type of drama that's behind the scenes of these bigger productions with movies and stuff. I want to see that's to me super like interesting to see the behind the scenes, like what happened with LucasArts. We only know a few things, but it would have been cool to know something inside. You know what I mean? Like to
Yeah.
see what happened there for the last who knows how many years. We don't get that in the video game industry. It's not as newsworthy as it is with something like TMZ. So I don't know. But I'm just saying that would be a cool idea to. I don't want people harassing each other. I shouldn't really say TMZ, but you know what I mean. I want like a hard, like I want to know what's happening behind the scenes more than I want these people to get out and talk for hours about you should check out this game. You should check out this game. I want someone to be like, well, what happened during this time period? You know what I mean? Like tell me. We hear it about Atari, the beginning of Atari. I don't know how many times we hear that they've dropped acid.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know the behind the scenes of a lot of these companies, like now, like
Yeah.
EA now and Activision now, Blizzard. Now we see a little bit of Blizzard behind the scenes. We see them at their own convention and stuff like that. Um, But a lot of these other companies, especially Japanese, we don't know. They are very, conservative about what they put out there and the information. So, but yeah. So, I mean, is there any other news, or you want to wrap this up? I got some homework now. I got Doctor Strange, and Death Note. So,
There you go. There you
yeah,
go.
yeah. So, well, I think this wraps it up. We didn't really get into much Game of Thrones, but we can talk about that next week. News will happen. We'll get to it like we do every week. I'm sure another company will fold. We
Cross
might
your
see Mr.
every week. Cross your fingers.
Exactly. But next week, the big thing I think is going to be is we're going to see some Secret War stuff, and of course, the Avengers. We're going to be talking about that a lot. I don't know if we're going to do our own reacts. Maybe we'll just keep it a part of the episode, but we'll let you know. We're at We Geek Podcast, on Facebook, so please like us. Our Twitter account, gotta get more active on that. But it's at We Geek Podcast, or send us an email at We Geek Podcast. It's wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. If there's any topics you want us to discuss, we'll talk about it. Send us an email, let us know, get on Twitter, it doesn't matter. Let us know, and we'll talk about it, as long as it's not something crazy, as long as it's geeky, But yeah, we got Avengers coming out. Flash and Arrow are getting really close to the end of their seasons. So, I can't wait to talk to you about that whenever you see it. But yeah, maybe I think maybe in the next week I'll watch some Strange Death Note. And hey, I'll keep you on addiction watch to see if I fold and get this get this Slave One, because holy crap, it's all I think about. I'm like, I think about everything else throughout the day, all the important stuff, but I'm like, when I think about what I want to do to relax, that's what my mind goes to. So, anyway, without further ado, Captain.
Captain.